final. Umpires Rick Kinnear with the ball. It's umpire Mark Mackey. And Russell Johnston has won the toss and elected to kick to the northern end, which is favoured by the breeze. And Johnston wins the tap immediately. It goes to ground. Ginniver in there working hard. So too Williams. It will have a bounce immediately in the first 10 seconds of play. And Ian, or in fact Brian, interesting to note, Darren Jarman full forward once more.
He is, and the job has been given to Ben Harris back there for Port Adelaide. I thought he'd start there, Kim, and he certainly is, and will be interesting to see that play as it goes on during the day.
Wanganeen underneath the ball. Brown gets the kick away, but it goes straight back there towards Bradley Ryan, who has had a magnificent second half of the season. He puts it out towards the veteran in Clisby, who in turn puts it wide to Burton, the speedster. His kick's a wobbly one forward, but it finds Saliba. His handball over the top is very accurate. It finds Mark Marshall. Here's a chance for Jarman. He's in front of Harris on the first bounce, but the boundary wins out, and that looked rather ominous from the start.
Interesting, Kim. Jarman has got the whole 50-metre area to himself, whereas Port Adelaide have left Darren Smith in the forward pocket in support of Scotty Hodges. So they've got two players, obviously two standing them. At the throw-in, thumped away by Bennett. Slipped over quickly, Mark Williams. Back now to Phillips, centre field. Throwing the ball out there was Ginniver. For Wanganeen it was. Kick towards the half-forward line. The bodies go in. Here's a chance. Ryan back on the ball. Smith with him up. A slight push in the back. That's the way the umpire will rule. And the free kick will go to Bradley Ryan in the back pocket. He edges it closer to centre-half back. Sanders, as distinct from Saunders. There's two of them. Drives towards the half-forward line. Off the fingers. In goes Redden against the tide. Phelps gets it back northeast. High towards the half-forward line. Setting himself back there was Saunders. Clisby over the top. And he takes the defensive mark.
Interesting to see, Kim, that David Hines has been placed at centre half forward, and Daisy's picked it out already, and Darren Smith into the forward pocket for the Magpies.
The ball pushed to the outer side. Peter Bennett was the target, couldn't control that, and Peter Bennett, he too has found form at the right end of the season. He was thrown into the ruck last week against South Adelaide and performed magnificently. But the veteran, Michael Redden, the champion he's been, wins the tap, puts it out to another veteran in Craig, back to Clisby, back to Craig. The hands are very quick, out to Klomp. Good to see he made it back from Perth. He drives it in long. The target out there is Bennett, getting back northeast. Darren Jarman outside 51 to beat. Make it two. Now he's inside 50 on the right boot. He goes towards goal. Oh, he is a genius.
That is absolute Jarman magic at its best. He was inside the 50 metres. He had the whole space, but he actually got the ball outside 50 metres. Here we go with Clisby. That was a quick handball. In fact, the free kick was paid to advantage as Craig got it onto Klomp. Now, the kick was looking for Jarman, but he had to work hard. Here he comes out of 50 metres, gets around one player. Look, when he's got the ball, the player is an absolute magician because he could see the goals, knew that he could kick the distance, and no one in South Australian football can do that well.
Johnson coming in on a tangent almost. Redden. Johnson's tap down. Mark Williams onto the right boot up towards the half-forward line. Setting the Silvers. Turner over the back. It comes through. Or Brown ran the gauntlet. Ginniver puts it towards his half-forward line. Saunders getting back on the ball for the Roosters. Ball forced out. Here's a chance. Port Adelaide through Wanganeen. Around the corner in towards full forward. Perkins back there. Jams it onto his boot quickly. Redden won't get there. Stephen Williams can. On the left leg. Goes for goal. And Port Adelaide have hit the post.
Stephen Williams normally wouldn't miss those. Very confident on his left foot as he came in toward the goal, but just dragged it left-hand side, maybe hoping the breeze would bring it back to the centre. It didn't.
The ball with Rod Saunders. Plays in the back pocket, but always brings the ball back into play, and normally very accurately. Not so on that occasion. Mark Williams with the football, number 9. And even though he is assisted by the breeze, he is not a long kick, kicking from about 53 metres out, and just attempting to gain that extra distance. He pulled it across his body, and that is out of bounds on the full. And the free kick will be taken by Tim Perkins. We've had 4 minutes of the opening quarter of the 1990 preliminary final. In fact, that's Ryan. Bradley Ryan puts it up, looking for Turner. He applies the spoil. The young 16-year-old dives over the top. In there too is Hutton. The ball goes over the boundary line about 40 metres out from 48 metres out from the Port Adelaide goal. Magpies 1 point, North Adelaide 1 goal. Smith front position, that was Darren Smith, picked up there by Turner, couldn't get the kick away. The handball to a falling player was Hines, now taken by Wanganeen. He is very clever, down to Brown, one-on-one in the square. Hodges from behind, back there Perkins, and Clisby very coolly and calmly just taps that ball over the line.
Crowd, I would think, of about 25,000. Just a little disappointing. I think the league were expecting over 30. Perfect conditions, would not get a better day for football. And a big game. Saunders edges the ball to the outer side, out there looking for Redden, who can't find it. Johnson gets back, Rowan Smith in the action, looks for running support, or Philp put it behind him. Back to Rowan Smith in the double play, out comes Hodges. Hodges can't quite bring that one down. Gee, they edged him off the ball. Coming out with it, Clisby comes out wide to Sims. Sims under the hammer from Abernathy. Bumps the ball up towards Darren Smith. Full forward pocket, needs support from there. Ball still in play. Hutton can't find it. Getting back on it now is Sims. Hasn't got the football. Wanganeen through. Hooks around the corner. Touch off the boot. Got to play on. Well done. And it's Clisby who'll run the ball out. Whoop. Death-defying running of handball then. Perkins got it back to Clisby and he kicks clear.
And Clisby already a factor with 4 kicks in this game, and he's giving David Hines the run around. Craig, an uncustomary fumble there, but he's over the top of the football once more. Ginniver in pursuit. Lyndall Craig quite happy to see that ball over the line after that initial mistake. 6 minutes into the first term. Port Adelaide 2 points, North Adelaide 1 goal. Ideal conditions, as Ian mentioned, a crowd perhaps just in excess of 25,000. Redden used his body well. Oh, Klomp rather crude, and Stephen Williams at the bottom will win that free kick. And if Klomp's not careful, it may be 50. Now, the crowd yet to really warm to this game. Just a little bit of hesitancy there on behalf of both sides' supporters. The ball put out to Hodges. Perkins doing a good job in the early stages. Wanganeen signed with Essendon for 200,000 over 3 years. The handball was good to Brown, but only a point result, and there's 3 points the difference.
Magpies are rushing their work up forward. They're grabbing the ball well, but getting rid of it a little too quickly for my mind. And with the breeze, they've got to do a bit better than this.
Noonan working the shuffle, and it's Lehman that comes in from the, or down from the wing to take the kick in. Edges the ball back towards the lead of Bennett. Phelps out there with him. 1-2, can't complete it. Out of play marginally in the attacking division for Port Adelaide. At about centre wing. North 1 goal. Port Adelaide 3 points. The Magpies kicking with the breeze. Possibly birth 1 or 2. Hines over the top came Films. Rowan Smith, Mark Williams. That's well done. Port into attack again. Out comes Hodges. He's got this one too quick. Williams put it into the hole, and Scotty Hodges has got a chance now from 35 metres out. The 1990 Magarey medalist, chock full of confidence at the moment, but almost suggest you pop this one down already. Wind assisted. Yes, home. Port Adelaide hit the front, 1-3 to a goal.
It was nice work from that half-forward line by the Magpies. It was started off and we didn't see the ruck work, but Phelps came over the top to give Rowan Smith and eventually Mark Williams the opportunity. Hodges is very quick on the lead. Very, very fast. Out in front, all he needs is 1 metre when the ball's delivered like that, and an easier mark he couldn't get. Scott Hodges notches up his first. 9 points, plays 6, 8 minutes, first quarter.
Umpire Rick Kinnear with the football, one of South Australia's most experienced umpires. Redden won the tap on the way down. In there is Hart, seeking his first possession. Redden just punched that one out towards Craig, a la Russell Ebert. Loose ball, Brown off the deck, Klomp over the top. It's tapped out towards Hutton, though. He paddles it forward. In pursuit is Dixon. He gets the kick away, Hutton. Oh, using the bodies against each other with Smith and Ryan. This allowed Hodges to take the ball. He swings it back up high. Saunders back there. It's across the face of goal. Tregenza down from his wing. In there, Ginniver looking for support. It goes back to Tregenza. Rode the bump well. Gave it to Wanganeen. He's very good around goals, and he has his first.
Now that is cool work from the youngsters of Port Adelaide. Tregenza and Wanganeen combining with Ginniver. Ginniver was the initial player who got the ball out, but watch this for cool work. Across, and the player sidesteps Wanganeen onto the left boot, does it beautifully from only 10 metres out, and Port Adelaide had their second on the board. 9.5 minutes played almost in the first quarter, and the Magpies are starting to show signs of the form that they've displayed during the course of the year, with a bit more fluent forward movement. And of course for North Adelaide, Darren Jarman's the key, but he's languishing at the moment at full forward, but he has the 1 goal to his credit.
Port Adelaide by 9 points. At the bounce, Johnson against Redden. Redden got up early. Johnson got the tap. Craig takes the ball away. Can't get a kick away. They work in hard. The umpire will have to come in and bounce. Umpire Rick Kinnear, South Australia's most experienced umpire, with him Mark Mackey this afternoon. Different pairing from last week. Kinnear had Weston with him last week. Wanganeen got hit high. The umpire didn't worry about it. Kicked into attack by Brown. Hodges can't half volley it. Darren Smith back there is Perkins. Under pressure. Gets it back now. Hooked around the corner. Turner. Hutton sets himself. In comes Clon. Who's got that? It could be Stephen Williams. A lot of courage showed there by both teams. But Stephen Williams comes up with a football. And just a little disappointed as well. What's he? Did he take it off someone else? He may have. Whatever, he's got the football. Stephen Williams from the 55-metre mark. Oh, off the side of his boot. Could be lucky. Johnson, well, luck's a fortune. It was almost a shank off the side of his boot. And Russell Johnson has marked the ball 35, 40 metres out right in front. Similar position to where Scott Hodges booted their first goal. Port Adelaide skipper, wind assisted. Nice looking kick. That's home as well. Port Adelaide doing it well. 3 goals in the first 11 minutes.
Tremendous courage by Stephen Williams to take the mark. That kick was his worst, I think, in league football ever. It came right off the side. Russell Johnson, lurking at half forward, really was waiting to contest the ball if it came back out after a point. He was in the right position in front, and the captain, with a straight kick right through the centre post, his first goal. So Port Adelaide go on to 3-3-21. North Adelaide a 1 goal, 6 points.
Back centre field, it has taken Port Adelaide. Well, it took them 8 minutes to kick their first goal. They've now kicked 3 in 3 minutes. Redden up high, but Johnston won the tap, searching for Williams. Stolen by Neil Craig. Kicks around his body. It's a floating, wobbly kick. George Fiarchi, Port Adelaide's best, overran it. Dixon now an opportunity. Should go off the turf, but he paddles it forward. He may lose the run of it. He's over the top of the football still. In there is Hutton. Sims at the back for support. Fiarchi back there again. And Stephen Sims, well, he won't be the fittest man out there, but he'll lack nothing in desperation. Picks up his first kick. From about 60 metres out, he puts it up looking for Darren Jarman. The breeze gets the hold of it. Klomp had to go in there with courage. It's fisted away. Redden taps it out to Saliba. That was brilliant. His handball was smothered. Brown through solidly. Chance for Wanganeen. Still has the football. Gives it to Brown. Do you think he's not exciting? Now out there is Ryan, front position. Couldn't take the mark. David Hines back. Oh, clever work to look for Smith. But that one just failed to come off. The execution was good, but there was good pressure applied by North Adelaide.
How about the way young Wanganeen has started? And brilliant touch. Throw in on the half-forward right flank. Hines in front. Gets a tap, not effective. Aerial ping-pong for the moment. Klomp through, didn't have the football. Umpire Kinnear is going to give him a free kick. Kim Klomp, who caused quite a stir last week in the match against Norwood. Certainly made his presence felt. Fiarchi couldn't one grab it, and the ball taken out of play at centre wing against South Adelaide. Not Norwood. 3-3 to 1-1. Michael Noonan looking concerned. He's down 15 points already, and the ball's only been into his forward lines on one occasion that I can recall. Clisby against Stephen Williams. Missed it. Sanders gave it to Craig. Intercepted. Stephen Williams under pressure, and the umpire will bounce.
Gee, there is a lot of pressure out there at the moment, and North Adelaide at the moment feeling the effects of it more so than Port, I would think.
Yes, they're like two boxers just sparring at the moment, just looking for a weak link and just looking for an opening. Nothing really happening at this stage. Port Adelaide kicking with the breeze. North Adelaide in no real trouble as Saliba comes out towards Hart. They need that player to find some of the football. Over the top there looking for the free kick is Mark Williams, but umpire Mark Mackey will bounce once again. 21 points, plays 6, 15-point advantage to Port Adelaide. Daryl Hart, after 14 minutes of football, yet to win a possession, and that's most unlike Daryl Hart. The ball now out, David Brown a chance, Turner in pursuit, Brown gets the kick away, he hooked that back beautifully, in the square is Hines, and he has taken the mark, and Brian, a move has been made.
It appears Scott Hodges has gone to centre half forward. David Hines has gone to the full forward spot, or maybe in that forward pocket, I would think.
Hines lines up, and the move is paid off immediately. David Hines posts his first goal. Port Adelaide 4-3, North Adelaide 1 goal.
Let's have a look at it again as David Brown gets the quick kick. That's the value of quick kicks. Hines, in fact, is playing that forward pocket. He swapped with Darren Smith, who's gone to centre half forward, back to his customary position. They've changed it for 5 or 10 minutes, and that's given both players a new lease of life, I would think. Smith will now play at centre half forward, and Hines, with that first goal, to his credit, puts Port 27 points to 6 up.
North can't get it out of their centre square. Their half-forward line ineffectual at the moment. Johnson against Redden at the bounce. Redden gets the tap away, but Williams takes the football. Had it for a moment. Taken away, however, by Geneva. Kicks in high, waiting his chances. Bradley Ryan had to stand his ground as the herd came down. He did it well. He'll go out wide looking for Burton. Geez, had his 15. Goes out wide. Burton's got to stand and deliver. Tregenza back in there. 2-on-1. The speedster comes out. Johnson thought about Tregenza's got hit. He's not too well at all. Geneva, ball behind play. Into attack they go. And the ball being taken in defence there by Saunders.
Well, you should have seen what was happening behind play. OK, the ball is down the forward area for Port, but Clomp and North East, it was a boxing contest.
Toe-to-toe they went. Redden looking just a little the worse for wear, slips it out. Here's a chance, Sanders on the left leg. Pressure put on that player, he couldn't get the kick away. Has got to go and get it himself. Phelps there, Sanders against North East, 3-on-1. Bad side for the Roosters. Thrown out by Sims, in goes Klopp again. Oh, down goes Rowan Smith. It's in at the bottom of the pack. Fists going everywhere. They come away through Abernathy, or Geneva it was. Back towards Brown. Brown in third, Tregenza. Port Adelaide into attack. Out steams Hines. Thumped away. He's got the ball back again. Darren Smith. Hodges on the lead. Won't get the... Yes, he's got it! Oh, do you think there's any punches being thrown out there? Port Adelaide's gone on with the football, and Scotty Hodges has got a chance to make it number 2. 35 metres out. He kicked his previous goal from exactly the same spot. And the way his confidence is at the moment, it's a dead set certainty. Number 5 on the board. Port Adelaide 5-3 to a goal in the 1990 preliminary final.
Gee, it was hard to know where to look, Daisy, because all the action was down in the half-back line for Port Adelaide, where North East and Rowan Smith, etc. Now, that ball should have been cut off. In front, North Adelaide, I think it was Lehman, the player, who should have got in there and contested. You've got to have players in front of a leading full forward like Hodges, and even if you don't get the ball, you at least stop his run. He didn't. Hodges took the mark and converted easily for his second goal.
Scott Hodges, 2 goals today, 136 for the season, perhaps chasing Rick Davies' record of 151. The ball tapped down to Williams. He's having some impact in that centre square. The ball put out wide. Smith and Turner. It's tapped down towards David Hutton. Hutton, the quiet achiever, puts it out. Hodges!
Port Adelaide are winning it out of the centre. Now, this is exactly what everyone thought wouldn't happen, that Redden would control the rucks with Hart, who's yet to have a touch of the football. But Port Adelaide, particularly through Mark Williams, controlling it in the centre and getting the chance for Hodges, as this one is.
6-1 out of the centre in the Magpies' favour. Hodges a chance to post goal number 3 from only 35 metres out, and he's put it smack bang through the middle. Port Adelaide kick their 6th.
But one wonders now whether a move will be made. Tim Perkins has been given the job on Hodges, but Hodges is looking in superb form, and his 3 goals in the first 18 minutes is fair credit. Look at that pass. Hodges is so strong. Perkins was there with him, but he's a high flyer. And when the ball's delivered out in front, Hodges' hands are so sticky. He has 3, Port have 6.
Bucky, I think everybody's starting to think about last year's Schmozzle in the grand final. 6-3 to a goal. At the bounce, Johnson against Redden, as they say. They're not getting it out of the centre. Port Adelaide killing him stone dead. Williams can't get that one. Johnson in. Plump tries to get it out. He won't get it out. Down goes Mark Williams again. Clisby runs the gauntlet, gets unloaded. Thought that was a fairly good tackle, but the umpire didn't read it that way at all. Clisby to hold the fort for the moment. Kick number 5, Trevor Clisby. Now he's got to find a winner and attack for the Northerners. Puts it out wide looking for Bennett. There's 3-on-1 out there. They come over the top and swallow him. Brown out wide. Tregenza, if they can get it out that way. Off goes the speedster. Hodgson steams out again. Perkins comes to meet the football. Now, can he get it away? Under pressure. Gives it away to Bradley Ryan. In turn off the half-back line, it's Clisby having a boomer. Now Craig, can they get something out of this? North Adelaide need it, and they need it quickly. Hart with a chance to get his first one. Put out in front of him nicely. Hart sends him into attack, into the pocket. Getting back on it is Piazzi. With him back there is his teammate and Abernethy, and the ball is still in play. Beautifully done, Port Adelaide, and Hutton will get it next.
Hutton, he should have got it next there, and he dropped it. Now he ducks the head, tried to crash his way through, and will have a stalemate. In fact, that's holding the ball, so you can't afford to make mistakes out there. And now Darryl Hart will pick up his first kick of the game. Second kick, I should say. And I've got the strange feeling he may be tagged by Mark Williams at the moment as Bennett lets that one go over the line.
I've been watching it, Kim, because you mentioned it earlier in the game, and Mark Williams seems to be with him, certainly in the centre of the ground. As we look in that area now of the boundary throw, and he is next to Hart, I would think you're right.
Well, it would certainly account for the reason that Hart's only had 2 possessions thus far, and we've had 20 minutes of football. Phillips at the back of the pack, tapped it down to Stephen Williams, back to brother Mark, he won't get away from Burton. Now Hart picks up the football, too slow, Rowan Smith from behind, Phelps can't control it, the boy from the West Coast still in there working his heart out, he's dispossessed, and eventually will have a bounce across that centre square. Across the half-forward line for North Adelaide, Port Adelaide having a few opportunities, they lead 6-3, North Adelaide 1 goal, and Darren Jarman still at full forward as Williams gets the handball out towards Hutton. Receives an unfavourable bounce. Mark Williams through like a truck. Hutton goes back. It's not a good handball, but Abernethy has time. Hooks around his body, one-on-one. Rowan Smith underneath it. Hines can't control it. Bradley Ryan takes it, ducks the head, loses the football. Tregenza out there. Hines out to Rowan Smith. Over the top to Darren Smith. This should be number 7. He has time. He snaps towards goal. And he is just offline.
Gee, they're running in numbers, the Magpies. They are getting players at the fall of the ball that North Adelaide aren't at the moment. There's 2 and 3 players against 1 North Adelaide player, and the Roosters will need to lift.
You're dead right, Bucky. Very few players up at the drop of the ball for North Adelaide, as you say. Saunders goes to the outer side, looking out there for Redden. Johnson's with him all the way, thumps the ball clear. Through was Lehman, gets the ball out now to Craig. Craig goes towards the half-forward line, well put. Saliba with the run of the football, he'll need to get it out in a hurry. Half-forward line, Dixon got it back now to Turner. Turner high to the half-forward line. Phillips up, well shepherded Abernethy. Took out Sims, and Phillips takes the easy defensive mark. Crowd wanting 50 metres. A little bit of byplay northeast. Oh, he's been run down. Gee, he was casual there. Surely he saw Saliba coming at him. Darren Smith up, can't keep the ball in play. It's a throw-in on the half-forward left flank. Port Adelaide leading by 34 points.
22.5 minutes into the first term. Trevor Clisby, perhaps best man on the ground at this stage. But Port Adelaide have played it as a team, and Wanganeen has been good. So too Mark Williams. Smith tried to kick it away. Geneva takes the crumbs. It's up high. It's a floating ball. Wanganeen sets himself. So too did Saunders, couldn't control it. Chance for Perkins, pirouettes out of trouble. The handball to Klomp is good. So too to Craig. That one's even better out towards Mark Marshall. He in turn kicks it long, and Phillips back there. And they are breaking down badly across that half-forward line, North Adelaide, as the handball goes out to Benny Harris. He puts it out to the speedster in Tregenza. Appears to have recovered from that cork thigh from a week or two ago, or 1 week ago, I should say. The short pass. And oh, that is late, and that may be 50. No, it's not. The mark for Tim Perkins.
Perkins on the half-back line. Hello, the boys starting to play up again. Just a slight dust up, that one. I think they took exception at Wanganeen's late tackle, Darren Smith. Gee, North Adelaide are kicking the ball poorly.
Their placement of kicking is atrocious at this stage, Ian, but they haven't got the options up forward that Port have got. Out
wide, Abba needs a set. Craig in attendance. Abernethy hooks back high. Half-forward line. Gee, that's higher than longer. Over the top, the big leap came there. Not successful. Burton. Geneva. Burton on the half-back line's got to go the safety to use his pace. But the pace of Tregenza will get there first. Rowan Smith again into the game better this week. Around goes Geneva. Caught on the left leg. Port Adelaide into attack again. Out steams Hodges. In front is Perkins. Hodges wants to claim that he was shepherded, and I don't disagree with him. And the ball is going to drop short into the waiting hands of Hart.
There's no doubt he was, Daisy, but umpires can't pick up everything. Oh, that's a dangerous kick as well.
It's paid off, though, and the veteran Neil Craig has the football. He's taken 2 bounces. He has absolutely nowhere to go. He has to Clisby. Oh, Trevor Clisby by G's casual, but he's out of trouble with a rather ordinary handball that's paid off. Turner gets it out to Craig. There is absolutely no movement up forward for North Adelaide. They are void of forwards as the ball goes in towards their only player up there, Jarman. Over his head, he'll probably get the crumbs. Hey, look at that. Snatched it from nowhere. Now the handball into Sims. He's not fit. He pushes it out to Burton. He uses his pace to get around Johnston. The ball wobbles back to Dixon. Well, that was a leg break, and that ball is out of play in the right forward pocket. You think they haven't got any problems up forward?
Well, where are their forwards? The question must be asked. They're leaving Darren Jarman with 50 metres all round, but there's no other person in support of him.
At the throw-in, Bennett got rid of Johnson. Out comes Mark Williams having a burster. Drops the ball back towards centre field. His seventh kick. Darren Smith, Tregenza. Hodges again. Perkins with him. Hodges can't quite get there. Going through strongly. Stephen Williams. 30 out to lay down Mazir. And Port Adelaide have got number 7 on the board.
Well, they couldn't have hoped for anything better than that. Hodges was out of position when the ball came in. He didn't really have a chance at mark, but he got his arm there, and that was the valuable thing, that at least he contested and put the ball to ground. There it is, left arm at it. Stephen Williams the opportunity, and he goes toward goal. I think he was trying to draw the player who was at full back, didn't need to, went straight through, and that'll be great for Stephen Williams' confidence. He's had a difficult last month or so as he's been working with the fire brigade, and he has found training pretty difficult, but that'll lift his confidence.
We are into time on 26 minutes and about 16 seconds. 46 points plays 6 points, a 40-point advantage to the Magpies. And North Adelaide, well, they have time to score and they need to score desperately. Rowan Smith gets the handball away, couldn't take it. Klomp in there strongly. Likewise, they left the ball behind. Wanganeen over the top, and Brian Cunningham mentioned Mark Williams, perhaps the best man on the ground. He got the handball out to Ginniver, who in turn gave it to Hutton. Hutton has Smith short. The ball goes in that direction. He takes it easily. Now Hines, a handball over the top. Clisby closing, won't get there. The Shepherds applied, and there's another one. David Hines boots his second.
Port Adelaide have loose men. David Hines was the player who kicked the goal. Darren Smith was let loose. He's playing at centre half forward, so you've got to ask where Trevor Clisby was. But look at this. Player left within 10 metres by himself. Bradley Ryan was drawn up. Hines goes toward the goal, puts it straight through the centre, and the Magpies are looking good. They've kicked 8 goals, and North Adelaide have 1, and that was at the 3-minute mark of this first quarter.
North have taken Klomp out of the centre square, replaced him with Sims. North getting slaughtered at the centre bounce. 27 minutes in. Port Adelaide by 46 points, almost a match-winning lead. Hart on the left leg, around the corner, up towards the half-forward line. Loose Port Adelaide players everywhere back there. Phelps gets it out. Tregenza, long kick to the half-forward line, setting himself Turner, and that's a good mark on the half-back line. North Adelaide's forward line non-existent at the moment, and even John Cale's got half a smile on his face. Unheard of. Burton, out wide Asil, Standers. North into attack, long up towards Bennett. He's still 2-on-1. North Adelaide can't take a trick in attack. Jarman through, leaves it for Saliba. Back to Jarman. Now what can the magician do? Kicks into the man. Even he can't take a trick. Saliba back in the action again. Puts it out. Burton throws it away. Saliba taken to the ground. He can't get the ball out. In goes Sims. Smashed away by Burton. Darren Jarman puts it in towards full forward. But at least North Adelaide have got another score, albeit a rushed point, or not a rushed point, but hardly a methodical point.
Well, it's not too often that Michael Noonan is outsmarted, but perhaps he's outsmarted himself this afternoon. He has all his forwards playing up the ground at the centre bounces, and soon as North go into attack, all the Port players are staying behind, and he's just void of options as Wanganeen puts the ball forward. Hodges takes the mark. Oh, and from 1 metre out, he kicks his 4th goal, and Port Adelaide have 9, and this has been an ordinary start by North Adelaide, but magnificent to the Pies.
That is tremendous work. It started from full back, would you believe, when the ball was kicked out and Phelps stumped it over the top. Wanganeen gathered, put the ball down, so you could say it was 2 kicks that was through for a goal. Scott Hodges wouldn't want it any easier than that. Used the body and edged out and ran in for his 4th goal. Full forwards love running into goals. Hodges has 4, Port have 9, and North Adelaide haven't scored since the 3-minute mark of this quarter.
Whatever plan North Adelaide has got, Bucky, it is not working. They've just got Port Adelaide players in a ring back there, just sending the ball out every time it looks like going in. Williams sends Port into attack again. Up towards the half-forward line, Bradley Ryan drops the setter. Hodges throws it out. Geneva needs support. Back to Darren Smith on the left leg. Offline, 1 point only. Port Adelaide just peppering the goals all the time, and they've got a massive 52-point lead.
Nearly 30 minutes into the first term. Rod Saunders with the football. This time he'll be looking for Redden. There'll be no one there to get the crumbs, but Redden makes it in time. Couldn't take the mark. He's bowled over by his teammate, though. That was Mark Marshall. This allows Hutton to pick up the ball. He steers it back looking for Smith. Oh, Smith emerges with the football, and I don't think he really wanted it to start with. Now the handball out to Tregenza. He lines up the goals, and that's their 10th for the term.
Oh, Kim, I've got to say it, that is an atrocious mistake. There are in fact 2 mistakes with 2 pairs of North Adelaide players on the boundary line. It was Redden. I couldn't pick up the other player that let Port Adelaide in. But in this particular encounter we watch here, we see 2 players. Darryl Hart was one of them, and I think Sims was the other. Both went down to let Rowan Smith a free ball across to Tregenza. Thank you very much.
Not good if you're anything but a Port Adelaide supporter. 68 points. 31 minutes in. Redden trying to lift. Johnson can't get it out. In there is Rowan Smith. He's hit high. Free kick will have to go that player's way. Plump, the centre of attention, some Port Adelaide players now. And there's no use starting to head on anything at this stage, although Rowan Smith is down. North Adelaide need goals on the board. Umpire Rick Kinnear has reported Kim Klomp. In the meantime, Rowan Smith is not all that well. I think you'll find that Phelps will take the free kick. Rowan Smith, who's possibly playing one of his better games in recent days. Let's have a look at it again. He comes through once, and, well, you saw it right in the middle of Channel 9's screen. Right, now, it's going to be Mark Williams. Rowan Smith gets groggily to his feet. He's okay once the pain goes away. Williams high in towards the half-forward line. Hodges is there, Perkins with him. Play on is the call. Hutton in the left forward pocket, hooks around the corner and back in defence. The mark is paid to Michael Redden, and Big Michael would breathe a sigh of relief.
32 minutes into the first term. 10-5 plays 1-1, and gee, we hate to hark back to last year's grand final, but started off very similar. The free kick will go the way of Peter Bennett. So he's well down from centre half forward. He pushes out a pass looking for Dixon, finds that player. Young Dixon always plays in a long sleeve Guernsey as the siren sounds to end the first term. A magnificent quarter of football for the Magpies. They're on 10-5, 65. North Adelaide 1-1-7. The action on 9's Wide World of Sports.
A 10-goal first quarter has made a mess of the preliminary final to date. The Magpies are whopping 58 points with North to kick with the breeze. Johnson gets the ball out to Williams, the destroyer. Williams sends them into attack again up towards Scott Hodges. With him there is Perkins. Marnie on the ground for the first time. Oh, Darren Smith, luck's of fortune again. It's going with the Magpies. They're making their own luck, but Darren Smith boots his first, and Port Adelaide have got 11.
Again, you've got to say it's out of the centre where it's won. Russell Johnson did it so well. Grabbed the ball out of the centre. The quick handball to Mark Williams, who is the best player on the ground at this stage of the game, shadowing Darryl Hart. His kick long, Hodges to contest. Marnie the quick kick on. That is luck, no doubt about it. Clean bowled and straight through to Darren Smith for his first goal.
And it took 16 seconds to put that first goal on the board. The ball back with Mark Mackey. Redden opposed to Johnston. Johnston playing a better game than he did last week. It goes down to Sims, though. He kicks around his body. Bennett underneath it. Phillips couldn't get the punch away, but once again, Jeffrey Phelps is all by himself. No one wants to pick him up this afternoon. He couldn't take the football, though. Bennett applied the tackle. Back there, too, is Phillips lending support, but once more the ball out of play. And I agree with you, Brian. They cannot get the ball out of the centre, North Adelaide. That was one of the rare occasions, perhaps the second time for the match, if my memory serves me correctly. And Johnston puts it down to Ginniver. Ginniver back out towards Lehman and Craig. Craig should be able to pick it up. Now he lets it go. He's looking for the free kick. He's just sitting over the top of the ball. It's pushed forward. Tregenza back there. He takes it gladly. Now the handball out to the running player in Ginniver. Ginniver lifts the eyes and those big eyebrows of his, and he finds Darren Smith, who plays on. That's a poor handball to Brown. He won't deviate though. He kept the ball in front of his path. Out to Tregenza. He was pushed in the back. Hodges nearly. Perkins. Oh, Hodges stole it. Picks it up. Goes to go. That is magical.
Hodges has 5 goals, and that is the best of them, without a doubt. He wasn't in the race for it, dived at the ball, lost his footing, but desperation. Now, full forwards have got everything. This bloke have got to have everything. This bloke has. Look at the ball come in. Hodges dives at, well out of position. Now, watch this for desperation. Over the top of it, takes the ball, snaps it goal, and that is clever.
Oh, dear. What are we going to do for the rest of the afternoon? 12-5 to 1-1. North not showing anything out there at all. Their attack on the ball is abysmal, and Port Adelaide just running them off their feet. Stephen Williams, here they go again. Into attack they go through Hutton, up towards Hodges! Well, take 2 or take 3, whatever. It's just one continuous stream of passes going into the Port Adelaide forward line, and no matter how they come in, Port is taking advantage from them. 7th kick, Hodges. 5th mark, 20 metres out straight in front, and he has got number 6. He could get 10 before half-time.
Well, on that occasion, North Adelaide had first use of the ball in the centre. They got the tap, but Stephen Williams stole it so well. Hutton the kick down. Hodges is a superb player. I couldn't just help but cast my eyes toward the other full forward area and look at Darren Jarman, who was standing in the goal square and with his arms folded and thinking, well, what can I do? The ball's just not coming down.
13-5 plays 1-1. Mark Mackey with the football. Now Bennett having a run in the ruck. Let's see if he can initiate something. That time the ball goes to ground. Sims is trying tigerishly, but he's not winning enough of the ball. It's pushed out towards Hines. He tried to get the handball away. In there is Sanders. Couldn't take it. And we'll have a bounce once more. And have a look at that man, Darren Jarman. Perhaps the most talented and gifted player in South Australia. Saturday afternoon, 1990 preliminary final, and he's just getting a suntan out there. The ball is not going down that end of the ground. Now Ginniver, another opportunity. Brilliant handball to Brown. Could this be another one? It is. They've kicked 14.
Tremendous work, Tim Ginniver, because he stole the ball away. David Brown running in support was there to be used, and he was used effectively. That's a great smother by Ginniver, and he gets the ball. It's worth 2. In he goes to Brown. Brown straight toward the goal. The Magpies can do no wrong. 14 goals, plays 1, and we've played just 4.5 minutes of the second quarter. North Adelaide need to do something. They need to do it quick.
Bucky, while I call, you might look at records for preliminary finals. I think they're going to be, for the 4 today, 14 goals, 4 minutes into the second quarter. At the bounce, Bennett against Johnson, who's getting up higher and stronger. Craig comes out with a football, slips it back to Marshall. High out comes Darren Jarman. Harris won't get there. Thumped the ball clear, however. Phillips it is back in defence for Phelps. Burton right there with him. North at least with the ball in attack as North East takes it over the line for a throw-in. Ball forward left pocket. Jarman actually got his hands onto that one on his lonesome, but couldn't pull it down. Mick Redden under stress, that's for certain. Couldn't get that one. Clomp in onto the boot now of Burton up towards full forward, and there it goes out of play on the right full forward pocket. 14-5 to 1-1. And what do you say at a time like this, Bucky?
Well, you can say that that first quarter effort by Port Adelaide, as we've looked at the records, Daisy, is the highest scoring quarter of football ever in finals football. How about that?
Well said.
There's no need to add to that. The ball on the outer side. Oh, there's a high tackle. Sims in vigorously. Stephen Williams will receive the free kick, and The frustration is starting to show on Stephen Sims, but at least he's having a fair dinkum dip out there at the moment. And unfortunately, I don't think we can say that about a few of the other North Adelaide players. They're just not getting involved enough. Blomp certainly had a crack at it. He puts the ball up high to the boos of the crowd. Redden drifts into the front, couldn't take it. Ben Harris picks up the crumbs. The handball goes out to Fiachi. He's been quiet today. Mind you, the ball hasn't been down there. That was his first kick, and he finds Phelps, who has a good look around and says, "Where is my friends?" Where are they, I should say. Second kick. Oh, that's good work by North East. He tried to flick it over the back to Brown. Now he picks it up again. Lifts the eyes, draws the player. The handball over the top to Brown. He had to sit and wait. In towards Geneva, has one to beat. Handballs to the space. Will back up his own handball, and that is another handball, but it went straight to Sanders, I should say. And his kick finds Saliba. The handball is quick. Out towards Burton. Has one to beat. That's Phillips. Got around him easily. He should be able to kick from about 55 metres out. Short pass, and he finds Darryl Hart. The captain receives a few boos. Puts it out to Jarman, who loosely goes for that with one hand. Has three players to beat, and then kicks it out on the full.
See, when you're struggling, and Darren Jarman has had plenty of space, but he's had the lead on that occasion deep into the pocket area. I've no doubt he could have kicked a goal from there, but when you're up against three players as he was, and he just couldn't do anything about it and gave away the free kick.
Well, Ian, I thought that Darryl Hart, perhaps from inside 50 with the breeze behind him, could have in fact shot himself.
You would have thought so. I think all North Adelaide will shoot themselves if they don't do better. Hutton through the half-forward line. He's got time. He'll go all the way. No, he's going to chip it up for Hines. Hines didn't get the set. Back there is Perkins under stress again. North Adelaide working the ball out now. Bradley Ryan goes down. He can't find it. Hines. Now Marshall gets it out. Well done, Saunders. Well, the handball went astray. Here's a chance for Clisby to clear. Sims under the hammer. Geneva sets it up to the half-forward line again. Turn it back in defence, and that's the way the ball will end. He runs it out wide. Peter Bennett puts it out wide now for Sims. He's got to raise a gallop. He's running on one leg again. No question about that at all. And the ball goes out of play at centre wing.
That is sad. There is no doubt about that. Stephen Sims knows it in his own mind. He just cannot stretch out. And I think it's a groin injury, and he just won't get rid of that. Can't shake it off.
Yes, he's showing plenty of courage, but that's not helping the scoreboard at this stage. Redden tried to get a handball out to Craig, to Hart. Now over towards Turner, the young 16-year-old, kicked around his body. That's why it went along the ground. Jarman couldn't take it. Picking it up is Dixon. Oh, he tried to hook it back to Saliba. Went straight to Abernathy, and Abba clears for the Pies. Out there looking for Harris or Geneva. Geneva takes it. Now the handball out to Stephen Williams. They have players running everywhere. George could get this. That's ignored. And the pass goes into brother Mark, and George is still running, but he still won't get the handball. Kick number 11 to Williams. Hodges there. Clisby back there. He's been North Adelaide's best as he puts the ball out wide to perhaps their second best player in Neil Craig. Craig has two bounces inside 5 metres, has 3 inside 15. Now stretches out, 13th possession, drives it in long, setting himself Jarman, has 3 players to beat, and ran smack into the back of Greg Phillips.
And bad news again for North Adelaide. Kim Klomp in the centre of the ground is not moving at all freely. He looks to be limping, so they've got injury problems as well.
Marnie outside the 50-metre line, gets it back now to Tregenza. Tregenza at centre wing, check side. Not well put. About the first time Port Adelaide have lost it. Sims got it there from Saunders. Well done, Brown. In goes Saunders again. Umpire's going to give a free kick against Sims. Going to David Brown on the half-back line. 14-5 to 1-1. 8 kicks, 5 handballs. Port Adelaide racking up the possessions. Bennett can't find that one. Marnie thought he took that one. The umpire said play on, and he'll come in and bounce at centre wing. 14-5 to 1-1. What can Michael Noonan do to just stem the tide? It's unbelievable stuff. It's going to be worse than last year if North don't just lift their game. Well played, Stephen Williams. Bennett under pressure's got to go for the safety of the line.
Throw in on the offensive side.
I think the move is being made. Darren Jarman is coming into the fray, into the centre of the ground. Rod Said, the runner, is out there, and I think a move is being made. He's certainly moved from the full forward area.
Yeah, no question, Darren Jarman having a run on the ball, and it's easy from up here, but I think perhaps it should have happened in that first term at about the 15-minute mark as Brown skirts and flirts with the boundary line. The handball now goes over towards Tregenza, has one to beat, and he kicks the goal. That's his second.
He's had 8 kicks and 4 handballs on centre wing, 2 goals as well. Simon Tregenza, tremendous work, but watch David Brown, almost out of bounds, controls, looks up, sees the player free, and you can't let a wingman of this calibre free. He had a bounce, perhaps didn't need it, but he kicked the goal, so you can't complain about that. His second goal, Port have 15 on the board, North Adelaide still on 1.
Took them 7 minutes to get their last goal. They had a goal in the first, second, third and fourth minutes, and now one in the 11th as well. The scoreboard is a sorrowful sight, 15-5, 1-1. At the bounce, Bennett against Johnson. Out now towards Lehman to Saliba. Oh, handball is a shocker. Went towards Hutton, and now he's given away a free kick. Umpire's going to take the ball back, and it will be Hutton to send Port Adelaide into attack again. Well, Saliba had no one to handball at all when he got under pressure, and he just lost it. Tregenza puts it up for Hodges. Can't quite bring it down. Now Brown swings out a wide one. Lehman's back in defence. Darren Smith is there. Clisby against Darren Smith. Into the pocket they go. Darren Smith nowhere to go, and the ball goes out of play in the full forward left pocket. 15-5, plays 1-1.
Kim Klomp coming off the ground, Ian, and Darren Van Zetta going onto the ground. Klomp is limping and does not look good for North.
Well, the Roosters are only 88 points down, and we're 12 and a half minutes into the second term, but they're battling on. Daryl Hart has the football. Kick number 6. This is a nightmare for the Roosters. Very hard to believe, like Port Adelaide were favourites, but I don't think anyone expected this. The handball out towards Russell Johnston. The skipper's had a better game. He goes over the top to Abba, puts it out to the best man on the ground in Williams. He goes back to Abernathy. He's fighting fresh air out there, and a few North Adelaide players, and he gets the kick away to the crowd's appreciation. Hodges! Well, he had the set.
He started from about 10 metres back, and you could see he was going to have a go at this one. His confidence is sky high. That is a high mark.
He's taken 6 marks. This will be kick number 8. He's already posted 5 goals, an opportunity for, in fact, 6 goals he has. An opportunity for number 7, and it just floats into the arms of Peter Bennett, who handballs over the top to little Saliba.
Saliba inside the half-back line, back towards now the leader, Van Zetta on the ground for the first time. Sanders gets run down by Tregenza. Van Zetta through. Fiachi, Marnie, Mark Williams. Chance now for Wanganeen, puts it up for Hodges. Hodges against Perkins, gets edged out of it. Bradley Ryan back in defence. Needs a set as Darren Smith closes. Gets out of it well, he'll come over to Bennett. Bennett in the back pocket. North Adelaide defending grimly, that's all they can do. Mark Marshall. Now, what can they get started from here? Fourth kick will go towards Burton. He can't handle that one. Quickly in. Oh, Dixon got smothered. Phillips puts it out towards Marnie. Turner under pressure. Dixon back in it again. Finally, it comes out. Burton gets it out to Turner. Hart's under pressure. Northeast for Port Adelaide. Sends it back towards his half-forward line, but there it's Marshall in defence, and he takes it at centre-half back.
14 and a half minutes into the second term. 95 points, play 7. The Magpies leading. Johnston at the front of the pack. Northeast gets the kick away, albeit a high one. Underneath it is Burton, couldn't control it. Marnie picking up a few possessions. He went to Ginniver, who in turn went to Tregenza, who tried to get away from Saliba, couldn't do so. David Sanders now has the ball. Gives it to young Turner. Turner in turn looks for Saliba, who thought about the handball, and they are just finessing. Under pressure football, you cannot play that style of game. And it is certainly coming unstuck at the moment. They're a young side, but they're learning something at the moment. And that man, well, he would be extremely frustrated. And I think his looks at the moment, well, they don't really require any comment as the ball is pushed out to Tregenza. Wanganeen takes it, then lost it, has time to recover. Picks it up with one hand, chips out a short pass, looking for Hodges, and that time he was held by Perkins.
Yes, Tim Perkins is having a lot of trouble, to say the least, with Scott Hodges. On that occasion, that was an obvious one that everyone could see. Hodges didn't kick the ball at all well with his last attempt at goal. Now he's looking for a short pass, I would think, but he is a strong kick. I think he can kick it from 50 metres.
Kick number 9 from about 49 metres, and he had the distance but not the accuracy, and that is out on the full. 95 points still, opposed to 7.
Going to be Darryl Hart to take the kick in. Not a lot to talk about. Port Adelaide just too good, moving the ball superbly. And you just look at the difference for Port Adelaide with the number of players playing well this week compared with the Bays 2 weeks ago. Oh, Perkins to Hart. He hasn't got them out of any trouble. They'll go in short now and find Turner at centre half back. Now North have got a chance to have a look. Thought about Hart. Going to chip it over further. Oh, Bradley Ryan under pressure from Fiachi. In goes Geneva. Well done. Hart gets it out wide. Lehman the runner. Only Abbott to beat. Lehman's got some pace. Comes back inboard on the left leg. Wobbles a kick. There's no one home for North Adelaide at all. Phelps makes hard work of it. Craig read it well. Stephen Williams in trouble. Craig gets it out. Back to Sims. Sims now hooks around the corner. North Adelaide have got another goal. Well, they've got 2. They've doubled their score. And it's 16 minutes into the second quarter.
Well played, Stephen Sims. Good goal, that one. He is on one leg. He has a looks to be a chronic groin injury. He's had it for weeks and weeks. Phelps's handball wasn't all that flash from defence. Craig intercepting well. This gives the opportunity for Sims, who gets the handball from Craig. Well, a tap on from Van Zetta. The kick around the body was good. It's the first goal for North Adelaide since 3 minutes into the first quarter.
Well, the Roosters, they've rid one monkey off their back. They've exceeded last year's grand final score. They're on 13 points to 95. Maybe they'll get on with the job now as Wanganeen tried to crash through the centre. Brown puts the handball out wide. The bounce sat up high for Tregenza. He was equal to that. He gave it back towards Brown, who lines up the goals, and he has hit the... And by gee, wouldn't that have been a quick reply?
Yes, Port Adelaide has got all the answers. Saunders to kick in. North using the shuffle, but not to any effect at all. Their players simply haven't got the strength, as instanced by little Adam Saliba. Every time he gets the ball, he's just bulldozed off it. Can't do anything with it at all. Darren Smith, Brown. Brown is playing particularly well, puts it up for Hodges again. Perkins back there with him. Hodges, 1, 2 grabs, can't complete it. In goes Johnson. Over the top is Mark Marshall, but the umpire will come and ball it up 25 metres out in front of the Port Adelaide goal. 15-6 to 2-1. It's just an exhibition now in terms of a contest. That's gone for all money. Here's a chance. Clisby gets it back now to Craig. Craig in turn boots towards Saliba. Van Zetta can't find it. Sanders through. Fiachi up from his back pocket, slips it over northeast. Wobbles one in towards the half-forward line. Hodges can't get this one. Bennett played it well. Craig got it out to a teammate. Hart now finally gives it over to Van Zetta. He's uncertain where to go. He runs the gauntlet, puts it up looking for a forward. There's nobody home except Abba, and he takes it on the half-back line.
Well, the forward setup in North Adelaide has been abysmal this afternoon as the ball is transferred to the outer side, searching for Hutton, couldn't take it. Good pressure applied there, tapped up by young Turner in only his second league game. Van Zetta there for David Hutton. Good work to keep the ball in the area, and we'll have a bounce on that outer side.
Yeah, what concerns me, Kim, about the forward setup, and it's easy to be critical up here, as we said before, but they just are letting Port Adelaide players in defence control it, and the Port players are standing there. The North Adelaide players, when they come in, are kicking it straight to their Port opponents.
Darren Smith an opportunity. He puts the ball up high. Hodges with the sit. Oh, had a hand to it. Couldn't control it. Mark Marshall with good courage. Now out towards Clisby. He certainly tried hard, the veteran. Number 29 for the Roosters. He's been a great player. The ball out towards Turner. He's been one of their better players. To the captain, Hart. Back to Turner. Just gets the kick away. It clears the head of George. And have a look at this. This is exactly what Brian Cunningham was talking about. Northeast to Fiachi. Phelps was back there. They've lost it. But that's only through bad hands and poor handballing. Now the handball forward by Jarman out towards Burton. And this will be their third goal.
That was one superb handball from Darren Jarman. It might have looked easy, but it certainly wasn't. He had to thread it between oncoming Port Adelaide players to give the opportunity for Craig Burton to kick his first goal. Wasn't a good handball, stifled well. Jarman goes in again. Now watch this. Very, very quick and clever. Got it between Abernathy and Burton. Burton took the chance straight through at goal with his left boot. The third goal on the board to North Adelaide.
Bennett still in ruck for North Adelaide. He'll come in opposition now to Hines. Rosonico coming onto the ground. Phelps is off in a substitution for Port Adelaide. The bounce favours Bennett. He back knocks it, did it well over to Burton, but he got a bad bounce. Smothered off northeast boot. In goes Mark Williams again, slips it back. Phillips. Out wider still, the runners come. Abbott's clear. Through centre wing he goes. Kicks long. Out comes Hodges. Darren Smith's in there as well. In front was Clisby. Wanganeen through. Ginniver it was. Clisby gets it out. Craig in turn gives it away. Lehman short to the outer side, and we'll find Dixon. Dixon looks for a runner. Finds it in Hart. North Adelaide starting to get their act together a little bit, and finally a player slips over and made an awful fool of me as Fiacci gets it over towards Wanganeen, and in turn the kick is marked centre-half back by Turner.
So young Peter Turner has been one of North Adelaide's better players. 16 years of age, he's had 6 kicks and 5 handballs from the half-back flank. Darren Jarman kicked the first goal of the game in sensational fashion. It's not an easy kick to mark. Redden in late, and that was a little bit high according to the umpire. And the free kick will go the way of Bruce Abernathy. Let's watch the old snorkel. He appears to be okay. He's picked up 7 kicks and 4 handballs, 11 possessions for the game. The handball from Hines, that was ordinary. Now it's flicked back to that player. Hines up handballs to the open spaces. He says, go chase that, Abbott, which he does. In turn drops out a short pass. Now on the outer side there is Ben Harris. Harris's handball is a searching one, but it's picked up by Burton. He has the superior pace. The handball goes out towards Bennett. Bennett sold the dummy well. Now he puts up a floating kick. Underneath it is Sims. Back there Rosonico just onto the ground. He's trying to grab the football. Now Saliba, the handball over the top to Sims, and Sims has kicked his second goal in North Adelaide's 4.
Numbers, that's what it was all about. It was a game of numbers, 3 on 2, and North Adelaide had the advantage as Bennett went in. I don't know where the Port Adelaide defenders were, but Rosonico had 2 to beat back here. The bounce didn't favour him. Tried to drag it back toward the goal front. Northeast is there, but Saliba did well. A handball across, loose player, and Sims has got his second, the 4th goal on the board to North Adelaide.
I reckon Michael Redden's at full forward because he's not well. I reckon his injury's playing up again. He can hardly run at all. And that's why Bennett is in ruck. We see coming on for North Adelaide, Ben Hart. Thumped over now towards Lehman. Lehman needs a runner. Finds it in Craig, but the handball's a shocker. Hutton through. He in turn is smothered. Bennett can't find the handle. Needs support. Throws it over to Lehman. Can't get the kick away. Hutton can. Marnie at the 50-metre mark. Caught in attack. Oh, Brown clear. Beautiful kick by Marnie. Brown couldn't quite half volley. Got control again. Hooks around the corner. And it's going to be Bradley Ryan who takes it away for North Adelaide.
Ryan out searching for Craig. Kept his feet well. Still over the top of the football. The handball goes back searching for Lehman. Close to the boundary line. That was better work by the Roosters. Lehman's kick is high. Underneath it there is Fiacci, and he takes an easy mark. And by gee, haven't they broken down across that half-forward line? Little George puts out a pass to David Hines. Hines in turn to Ginniver. Ginniver out looking for Darren Smith, playing at centre-half forward. He did start the game in the first term in a forward pocket. His handball now finds Williams. Tried to crash his way through. Goes back towards Smith. Darryl Hart is there. Ginniver over the top. They're pushing the ball forward at all costs, Port Adelaide. Williams there again. Will be dispossessed, but gets the handball away. Northeast. Back towards Tregenza. His kick goes towards the forward pocket, and the ball goes just out of play.
Not pretty football at all, but that's the way that Port have worked it since the start of the game, that they've been at it, and as Kim suggested, they're pushing the ball forward. They're going at it, and players around, and that's the secret of success.
Williams hooks in. Perkins can't. Wanganeen keeps it in play for Marnie, or does he? The umpire said no. I think North Adelaide is working a little harder now. They're putting a bit more pressure on Port Adelaide, forcing a few errors. But gee, they're going to have to force a lot more and kick goals themselves. Throw in right forward pocket. Bennett against Johnson. Johnson tried to hook it back, but he only hooked it as far as Bradley Ryan. Coming through now is Turner. The long handball over to Craig, or runs him into trouble. Stephen Williams has got his own problems. Against the tide is Ginniver, lost the football. Out comes Craig, run down, great tackle, Ginniver. Holding the ball, might have been a little quick. Ginniver has the football. Hodges is not leading. It's 1-on-1 in the square. Hodges about to lead. Bennett's back there on 2. Off goes Hodges now. Beautifully put. Oh, what a kick. Well, impossible to cut that one off. They had two back there on him, but finally the hole developed by the Port Adelaide forwards clearing out. Out went Hodges, and he's going to kick for goal number 7. 10th kick, he's only 35 metres out, maybe 40 when he kicks. Nice looking kick, but he's pushed it across the face of goal. It was always going to be a point. Port Adelaide move now on to 15-7. North is 4-1.
He hasn't kicked well in this quarter, Hodges, against the breeze, and maybe he's trying for extra distance, but he hasn't got the accuracy that he had in that first quarter. It was interesting to watch him lead on that occasion. He was behind Perkins, and he waited and waited and waited, and maybe other full forwards might have given it away. He didn't.
Ben Hart just underneath that ball at the back of the pack. It's Geneva once more having a very good game. Players set themselves. The spoiler was Ryan. In there for the crumbs is Troy Lehman. The handball to Perkins. He bails out over towards Hart. Now Marnie picks up the crumbs. Back to David Brown. The left foot kick towards goal. Now he's found Hodges, who will play on. And there's number 7 at last.
Can't miss him from that far out. He didn't. He was only 1 metre in the end, but it was great play up forward that got it there. David Brown working the ball in. Wayne Marnie, the quick handball across. Brown has done a lot of useful work today. I don't think that was his best kick neither. He was looking for Hodges a bit shorter, but he managed to grab it, put it through. 7 goals to the full forward. Port Adelaide march on. 16 goals to North Adelaide's 4.
I think the thing about that, Bucky, was the fact that Brown did look for Hodges. He could have blazed away at goal himself, but he chose the short pass. It wasn't all that good, but it still produced the result that Port Adelaide required. Their 16th goal. At the bounce, Hines gets the tap out towards Sanders, but it's Craig who beats him, although Sanders comes away with the football. Lonesome up there is Mick Redden. He charges to meet the football. There's 3 Port Adelaide players back there against him. Rosonico comes out with a footy to Harris. He in turn thought about Fiacci, but in turn kicks now northeast. At centre wing, northeast has kept it in, or has he? The umpire said no. Out of bounds at centre wing. 16-7 to 4-1. Close to half-time at Football Park.
It's just approaching the 28-minute mark. Peter Bennett to do battle with David Hines. Bennett takes front position, then loses it. Nearly takes the football, in fact does. Tried to get the handball over the top, but Mark Williams picks up another kick. Front position there was Turner, couldn't take the mark. Wanganeen takes the loose ball. Clisby in pursuit. Battle between, he got into his back then. I thought Clisby did well, but he was definitely in the back of Wanganeen, who plays on quickly with a short pass. And whilst North Adelaide players are arguing with the umpire, Darren Smith has slipped down to the open spaces, and the centre-half forward should, from about 30 metres out, post his second goal. Had 8 kicks and 6 handballs this afternoon. He's kicked 1-2. He has been a quiet player over the last 5 or 6 weeks, and that kick will certainly bring him some confidence.
Yes, he's alternated between centre-half forward and the forward pocket, as we mentioned before, Kim. And on that occasion, you can't blame Trevor Clisby, because he was involved in the fray in giving away the free kick. He was standing the mark. He should have had a player come in and take the mark, or else go back and pick up his man in Darren Smith. He didn't do that. Smith was in position to take an easy mark and kick a very, very easy goal from only 20 metres out. 17-4 at the 29-minute mark of the second quarter.
Darren Jarman in the centre square still. Bennett will go in opposition to Hines. Line ball, that one. Comes back now to Bennett, who slips it over to Turner. He hasn't been North Adelaide's worst either. Fiacci chances his arm, can't get it. He'll get it back, however, from Hines. No, still can't find it. He's under pressure. As in comes Darren Jarman. What can he weave out of this? Hooks high in towards Redden. With him back there is Harris. Redden can't bring it down. Rosonico, Saliba against that player. Northeast comes in to support him. Can't get it clear. Out towards Abba. Here's Burton. Great tackle, that is holding the ball. Well, it's been the same all afternoon. North simply hasn't been able to get clear of the Port Adelaide tackles, which have come up. Well, they made their first mistake just about for the day, when the short pass from Abernethy has found Adam Saliba in the right forward pocket. He's about 40 metres out. Very acute angle. One of his few kicks. Second kick, he's had plenty of handballs, and even that one is not powerful. He's offline for a point, and North get their second. 4-2 to 17-7, and it's 30 minutes into the second quarter.
Well, Saliba's had 2 kicks and 10 handballs, and he's only a very young man, and he's not big. No doubt about that. In fact, standing alongside some of the larger players, he looks like he could be a mascot, in fact. But he tries hard and he has good skill. We're just over the 30-minute mark, and Port Adelaide in total control here in the 1990 preliminary final as Jarman tried to take that on his knees. The handball went back. Now a chance for Ben Hart to pick up his first kick of the match. It was smothered off the boot. Going through solidly is Ben Harris. The handball goes over the top. It's a wide one to Greg Phillips. He's been quiet, but he hasn't had a lot of work to do. He punches out a pass as the siren sounds to end the first half. Port Adelaide 17 goals, 7, 109. North Adelaide 4 goals, 2, 26. The action's been on Nine's Wide World of Sports. Start of the second half, Port Adelaide leading by 83 points. 17-7 plays 4 goals, 2. Mark Mackey with the football. And Darren Jarman starting in the centre and getting the kick away straight away, round his body, but it goes straight to Greg Phillips, who puts up a high left foot kick. Players set themselves. Young Turner front position, and he has been very impressive for a 16-year-old, Ian.
8 kicks, 6 handballs, certainly in North Adelaide's better players, but as we obviously know, they haven't got a lot. Mark Marshall drives out. Who's at full forward now? It looks to be young Hart. Here's a chance for Daryl Hart. Open goal. And gee, North are off to a great start in the second half. Not much joy for the Northerners today, but they've got number 5 on the board.
And it only took them 32 seconds into this third quarter. Daryl Hart reading it beautifully off the pack. And you're right, young Ben Hart is at full forward and well spoiled away by Harris. Beautiful pickup or take off the top of that pack, or the spoil you might call it, by Daryl Hart. So he puts through a goal. 5-2, plays 17-7.
Back in the middle, and doesn't it make a difference when you take the ball out of the centre square as Darren Jarman did on that last occasion? You never know. The Eagles in the reserves preliminary final, they came back from being 12 goals down. Maybe North Adelaide can do the same. But David Hutton into attack for the Pies, and the mark has been taken by Marnie. It was nearly cut off at the pass by young Peter Turner. He just couldn't get there in time. So Wayne Marnie, who started on the interchange bench, will be kicking for goal from about 45 metres out. He's lost a yard or two over the last few seasons. He's got a lot of leg injuries. The courage hasn't diminished, nor is the kicking ability. That is his first, and that is a very quick reply by Port Adelaide.
Just what North Adelaide didn't want. They got the first goal on the board in that first minute. They wanted to get another one quickly, but David Hutton, that pass superb to Wayne Marnie. Took a couple of grabs at it. Oops, down, almost got away. But he held it, and from about 45 metres, straight kick through the centre. Marnie's first goal.
Port Adelaide taken out of the centre square 2-1. 18-7 plays 5-2. Johnson from the right, Redden from the left. Line ball, in fact, no one got their hands on it. Darren Jarman got his foot on it. Fiachi comes across to cut it off. Nowhere to go, has to give away a handball and hope. Sims try to go back to Hart, but it's the other Hart, Ben Hart, in the action. He can't find the handle. Mark Williams gets it back to his skipper. Out wide, the runner. Out goes Tregenza. He can come back into Hines, or put Hines under pressure. Gave it back to Tregenza. Hodges on the march. Big mark there. Perkins almost could have been a push. Got to get it across to Turner, and he should clear. Comes out wide now towards centre wing. Out here's Darren Jarman, and he laid Hutton to rest. It's on again. Players running from everywhere. Hutton showed extraordinary courage to come back against the tide. Ball over his shoulder, and Jarman came to meet him and laid him to rest. Bucky Cunningham.
He did, and he came very, very late, and players are not happy about it. The Port players are in there showing strength, North Adelaide players as well, but David Hutton, it is good to see he's up and okay, and he has the ball, so he'll have his kick in just a moment as soon as the umpires sort things out. Rick Kinnear is in there and talking to it. Here's David Hutton taking the mark. Darren Jarman coming in very, very late. You've got to say that because he could well have held up. Now, he wasn't in the air. He was in the air when he connected, but he had the opportunity to stop before that.
Well, the umpire's going to give 50 metres, not surprisingly so. Daryl Hart out there at the moment arguing violently with Rick Kinnear, but they've brought Hutton, and it's great to see the young man. He's taken the bump extraordinarily well. he must be as solid as a rock, because he's going to be brought to the edge of the line and should kick a goal from here. 11th kick, first goal. Port Adelaide continue on their march. 19-7 plays 5-2 on Nine's Wide World of Sports.
Yes, David Hutton is rock hard, and let's have a look at it again as the ball comes out from Turner. And you've got to say that the only time that a player should hit like this is when you're in mid-air. Now, Hutton's up, and Jarman could have stopped or could have diverted, because he in fact leapt when Hutton had taken the ball. The 50-metre penalty was right, it had to be on, so Port Adelaide had their 19th goal on the board. North Adelaide have 5.
Back centre field, one thing David Hutton does not lack, and that is courage. Tremendous effort, and not all that flash by Darren Jarman. Back centre field, nearly 5 minutes into the third term. Redden in the ruck. He's been a quiet player. He's been beaten by Johnston. Clisby's been a performer for the Roosters, but that is holding the ball and perhaps a little bit quick. So the break's not going North Adelaide's way as Stephen Williams takes the football and he launches into a huge torpedo looking for Hodges. Couldn't take it. The crumbs are taken by Darryl Hart. The handball out to Turner. Back to Darryl Hart. Quick hands over the top. Finds Perkins close to the boundary line. His kick is a floating, wobbly kick. Wrong foot's Johnston. Bennett takes it cleanly. Back towards Craig. He wobbles one forward in the direction of the umpire, in fact. Stephen Williams emerges with the ball. Abernathy there. Held back on that kick looking for Ginniver. Lehman up high. The Archie in there. And little George, who's been, no, in fact it was Williams. Play on the advantage is paid. And Ginniver puts it in. Now at the back of the pack is Tregenza. North Adelaide players in pursuit, but Tregenza around his body, and that is touched. No, it's not, it's a goal. Oh, well, I thought Perkins touched it.
Well,
no
I
question
agree with
in
you.
my mind, he touched that, but the umpire said no, and he's the one that counts.
Well, we've got to have a look at it. We all agree on the same thing. It was touched. Well, in my mind it was. Tregenza has the ball, brought it back, and I'm sure it was deflected just here. Let's have a look. Did Perkins get his hands to it? Looks like he did. And the bounce favoured Port Adelaide. The goal umpire not impressed at all. Perkins cannot believe it.
20 goals, 7 to 5-2. 6 minutes into the second half. Johnson in. Off goes Stephen Williams. Nowhere to go. He'll come out wide to Hutton. Hutton has given Lehman the slip. Caught on the left leg. Port into attack. Good lead. Darren Smith. He's got the football. Goes back into Hutton in a double play. Puts it on its way. Gives it a chance. Oh. Well, he was robbed this time. You get one, you lose one. That was brilliant play by Hutton, who got laid to rest only 2 minutes ago, and he's back up and running and full of fight.
And not only that, Ian, David Hutton showed that he's almost a complete footballer, or very competent on both sides of the body. The pass was brilliant to Darren Smith on the left boot, received the handball, was caught on the right, and only went within millimetres of posting another goal. The pass from Saunders out to Sanders. He in turn looks for Darren Jarman, who received a little bit of noise from the crowd, which he did, and he left the football behind. The pass now goes out to David Brown. Right forward pocket. Northern end, I should say. Kick number 14 coming up. He's also had 8 handballs. The left leg is put to the head of the square. Players set themselves. At the back of the pack is Perkins. So too Wanganeen in there like a seagull. Oh, it's still in play. Now the handball goes back to Mark Williams. He snaps towards goal and just offline. And most players just appeared to stop then, Brian.
Gavin Wanganeen is very deft with his hands. He put his body inside the line and kept the ball in play, and most people stopped. Yep, they thought it was a point. He didn't, and kept the ball in play, almost a chance at goal.
Saunders goes out wide, looking out there for Troy Lehman. Lehman on half-back flank to edge North out of defence. He comes towards the half-forward line. Darren Jarman and/or Bennett's going to get the sit. Providing the run is Darryl Hart. Oh, a lot of pushing and shoving going on there. Rosonico appeared to have hold of a pair of pants as he comes back, slips it to Harris. The kick is a shocker. Darryl Hart raises a gallop, can't get there. Hutton can, played it beautifully. Drives round the corner. Clisby's there. Marshall lost it. Wanganeen nearly had his head pulled off, and the umpire sees it that way. And the second Port Adelaide player goes down in the matter of minutes. That was accidental. You see the tackle came and he ducked a chutney straight into that one, no question, but the youngster's up and running again. Off goes Hodges on a long lead. Hodges teams to meet the football, got underneath it, getting back on it now is Big Michael. He'll need support. Oh, taking his eyes off it. Ryan, that's holding the ball. Way the umpire's gone. Wayne Marnie elects to play on Hook's back, but he's hooked across the face of goal, and only 1 point results. Port Adelaide 20 goals 10 to North Adelaide's 5-2.
Rod Saunders goes back to retrieve the ball. Marnie, quickness of mind then, he had the right idea, just couldn't curl that one back far enough. So he's finding a few touches, he's finding a little bit of form. 130 points, plays at 32 points, 20 goals 10 to 5 goals 2. North Adelaide receiving an absolute caning by this very competent and classy Port Adelaide side today, and one of the reasons has been Mark Williams. You wouldn't think so with that handball. It's one of his rare mistakes. Neil Craig puts the ball out wide looking for Ben Hart, couldn't quite get there. Rosonico quite happy to allow that ball to go over the line. Mark Williams has had 28 possessions this afternoon, but he's been no lone ranger as far as winning the ball is concerned. When you look at the rest of his Port Adelaide teammates. The action live, well, not quite live. It's on Nine's Wide World of Sport. That's punched out of play once more.
Kim, the largest winning margin in the preliminary final ever was 93 points back in 1973 when North Adelaide beat Sturt. Port Adelaide at this stage eclipsing that, a 98-point margin.
Bucky stops smiling. Sims puts it up for grabs. Hart using his body well. Well played Northeast. He's lost the football. Sanders through. Sanders got one to beat. Drives for goal, but he's going to be well offline. In fact, he's out on the full. Abernethy to take the kick in. Off goes Mark Williams into the pocket again. He's going to have to make a meter. Sims is there with him. Gets it back to George. George in turn to Brown. Tango's beautifully off the half-back line. Port Adelaide go towards centre wing. There is Darren Smith, who can't control the football, and it's out of play. 20 goals 10 Port, North Adelaide 5-2, and a crowd possibly now just wondering how much Port Adelaide is going to win by.
11 minutes into the third term. Redden opposed to Darren Smith. Smith takes the front position. Jarman came from behind, never made contact with the football. Redden tried to scoop it out. Likewise Marnie, who pushed it in the direction of Brown. Over the top is Turner. And if you could find a shining light for North Adelaide today, it's perhaps this man, only 16 years of age, playing his second league game. Kick number 10 from the half-back flank. He puts it up high. This is where they're breaking down. Bennett tried valiantly. Now Lehman picks up the crumbs. Craig used his body well against Phillips, but the big man won out with sheer strength. And Abernathy takes that over the line.
Bad news for the Port Adelaide camp, Kim. Rowan Smith is being operated on at the moment for a depressed fracture of the cheekbone, one of the worst that they've seen.
And that's bad news for Port and also for Rowan Smith. And no one likes to see that as Lehman puts the ball up high. Players fighting for position. Harris punched it away. Reading it brilliantly was the skipper in Hart. The handball back to Burton. Should be a goal. And it is.
It was just there for a second. I thought it was going a little wide of the post. Goal umpire took plenty of time to make up his mind on it. And Darryl Hart, clever presence of mind. The ball came in, good spoil away. Came to Hart, could have gone at goal, looked for the handball inboard. It wasn't quite his best one, and Craig Burton made hard work of it, but just snuck it inside those two posts, and that is his second goal.
At the bounce, it's going to be Russell Johnson against Michael Redden. Good one by the umpire. Redden gets the tap away. Can they get it out of centre? Saliba got someone running for him, or has it? No, he couldn't find Turner. Ginniverin played exceptionally well on the first quarter. Likewise, Mark Williams, who drives the ball up towards Ryan. Back now to Clisby. He's going to run into a dead heat here. Beautifully done, Clisby. If he gets out of it, he did. Turner now puts it out wide, or Sims is clear. Watch Tregenza start him, or give him a standing start and beat him, although he got his kick away in a hurry. Hart back now to his namesake, but no relation. Hooks around the corner. Inboard. All Craig wants is a set-eye. Try to tap it back to Sanders. Sanders on the left leg in the pocket. He's got Burton, but he's going to shoot. Bennett getting back on the football, and the umpire must pay that money. Burton looked to be the better option in the square, but whatever, Peter Bennett can improve his angle, and being a natural left footer, that will help. Peter Bennett being called on to do a bit of ruck work when Michael Redden didn't look all that flash. It's only his fifth kick, and he's going to hook that back for another goal. North Adelaide 7-2, Port Adelaide 20-10.
Peter Bennett's first goal, and for North Adelaide's sake, I'm glad he got it, because the option, I thought, was Craig Burton. He should have been used. David Sanders didn't. He's got the ball here. Burton was much closer to goal on a better angle, but Sanders decided to put it up, try his luck with the left boot. At goal he went, and across the face. And luckily for North Adelaide, Peter Bennett took a good solid mark to post his first goal.
And the Roosters attempting to put some respectability on the scoreboard. 20 goals 10, North Adelaide 7 goals 2. 130 points, plays 44. Redden opposed to Johnston. And Johnston took that out of the centre and tried to handball to Brown. It's intercepted by Wanganeen. His sweeping handball finds Tregenza. He's kicked 3 goals from the wing. He's outside 50. He kicked forward. Hodges took it so easy. And doesn't it make a difference, Brian, when the ball is moved into the forward line with such swiftness?
Well, I wonder whether that kick was mistimed by a number of the defenders for Port Adelaide. It seemed to drop quickly, but Scott Hodges read it better than anyone.
Hodges has 7 goals. He's taken 9 marks. This is his 12th kick. It's his 8th goal. And look out, Rick Davies' record.
As 8 footy games are won out of the centre, and again it's Port Adelaide with Wanganeen getting it across toward Tregenza. We didn't see the initial part of that, but Gavin Wanganeen's handball was superb, and the ball did drop quickly. Perkins was out of position. Hines was at the back shepherding. He thought it might have gone a bit longer, and Scott Hodges was the one who came in and took the strong mark, and Hodges has been a star. 4 goals in the first quarter, 3 in the second, but he missed a number of opportunities, and 1 so far in this third quarter.
Port Adelaide is trying to work out their point margin. 92 points in actual fact, which is plenty. Johnson against Redden. Redden perhaps got a tap. Darren Jarman got it out towards centre wing. Hutton edged off the ball, but he keeps his eyes on it, recovers well. Back now to Abba. Abba changes direction, floats one in towards the half-forward line. Clisby's back there. Williams over the top, lost it the first time, got it back again. Now he looks for a free kick, but too late. The umpire's going to come in and bounce. Port Adelaide with a massive 58-point lead at quarter time. Effectively ended the contest. Now it's an exhibition, and Port Adelaide doing it extremely well. Redden gets it back to Saliba, in turn Stephen Sims. Kick was stilted and he goes to the line. Abernethy, who doesn't handle the ball with his normal assurance, and finally cut off the pass there by North Adelaide's Trevor Dixon, and the ball out of play on the half-forward left flank.
Stephen Sims, he's kicked 2 goals, both in the second term. He's not fit, has an injury, and even physically I don't think he'd be all that fit. Hasn't played a lot of football of late, but he's still out there trying. The kick was brought forward by Saliba. It found Neil Craig. Well, that was smothered by North East. Now Marnie an opportunity, keeps the ball. Now paddles it back out towards Abernathy. He's tackled by Saliba. Saliba's still in there, going through strongly with Geneva, and he's rewarded for his efforts. The tackle was high. At the 17-minute mark, Geneva out towards Williams. He places the ball up towards centre half forward, looking for brother Mark Williams. He couldn't take it. Saunders was there. Now Williams has it again. Out of trouble, into trouble, out of trouble. Now over to Wanganeen. Brilliant handball. Could have been number 4 for Tregenza from the wing. It is.
That is very, very clever work. Gavin Wanganeen's handball was super. There was no doubt about it. Very quick as the ball came out. Mark Williams worked hard for this one. Spoiled the ball. He's been in there all day. The paddle between the legs was unorthodox, to say the least, by Darren Smith. There goes Williams with a handball out. Now Wanganeen had no thought other than to get it wide to Tregenza. He did so. Tregenza does not miss from 30 metres out. 4 goals from a wingman. That's a match-winning effort.
Dead right. They've got a few match winners out there, Bucky. 22-10 plays 7-2 at the bounce. It's going to be Hines this time against Redden, who's certainly not giving up. We wouldn't expect the big farmer to give up, but he's got a massive challenge in front of him now. Sanders in. Slips it back to Adam Saliba. North Adelaide have made a change. Lehman is off, and Van Zetta back on the ground. With the ball at the moment is Sims, of course. He and Van Zetta not dissimilar. Undecided where to go. He doesn't seem to be keen to put his foot into the ball. Drives up towards the half-forward line. Van Zetta hangs on to Fiacci. He gets the free kick, plays to advantage. Off goes North East. Out wide now is Hines. Handball straight to Hart. Unbelievable stuff. Burton with the pace to get there. He's unloaded, and Port Adelaide swallow him, and the umpire's going to come in to bounce. I don't know what Hines expected to do with that ball. It looked as though he almost gave it to Hart. He couldn't believe his luck and properly slipped over.
He's had a couple of lapses in concentration, David Hines, today, with handballs in defence, and that was just one of them.
Bennett tries to hook it back to Hart. Hart wobbles one, but it's all Fiarchi on his lonesome. Seldom has the north forward line been in position. Rosonico has time to make a mistake, then get it back again. Fiarchi out wide, here's Abernethy, but George is going straight to Hutton. Over the top, destroyed. Salida again has time to have a look. I can't believe that. He had a shank off the side of his boot, straight to Abernethy, and he'll find Brown at centre wing.
Yes, there's been some awful mistakes in this game. The ball very close to the boundary line. Well done, David Brown. Taken by Darren Smith. Hutton, he's a courageous player. Drives it in looking for Hodges. Hodges has 8, and I've got a feeling it could be 9 very shortly. Mark number 10 for Scott Hodges. Oh, he's all class up forward. He outmanoeuvred Perkins, and he took the mark oh so casually. Now a chance to kick his 8th goal. In fact, yes, 9th goal it will be. Kick number 13 from about 25 metres out, and there's his 9th goal.
Yes, Tim Perkins has, well, you can't say he's had a good day at all, and Darren Smith got it across toward Hutton. Now the delivery is perfect, spot on, because he's put the ball up and given Hodges every opportunity. Perkins was just edged out of it by the body of Hodges. Just have a look at that. All he needed was a push in the side, just a gentle little one, then go back, and an easy goal in the end. And
there's been a movement, Bucky. I think Clisby's probably gone back onto Scott Hodges, and it's on already. At the centre bounce, Darren Jarman takes the ball away for the Roosters. Half forward line. Bennett comes back there. Phillips doesn't know where it is. In there was Sims. It's on again. Players starting to shape up. Obviously, there's a lot of aggro out there. But when you're about 16 goals down, I don't know what point is going to be proved. Having said that, I don't say that North Adelaide started it, but there's no point in carrying it on. Phillips drives out wide, looking out there for Tregenza. Sanders is going to beat him this time. He'll have to use Craig, but he was running the wrong way. Still has a turn of pace. Drives in towards the half-forward line. Wanganeen with that magic. Runs himself into trouble, but gets the kick away. Darren Smith out wide. Wanganeen in the double play. 45 metres out. Gives it a ride! Oh, what a goal! Got it back in the double play. Boots his second. And it's magic from Port Adelaide's young number 3.
he is an absolute class act. Look at that. One hand, left hand, took it, then quick kick. Now, you can't tell me that he actually looked for Darren Smith. He didn't, but he got the run on. He was there. He knew he could kick a goal from just outside 50. In fact, just inside 50 when he kicked it. Long and directed goal. That lad is a champion.
Well, no question of that. And that's why Essendon were very keen to get his services for the next 3 years. And in fact have. Back centre field, Rick Kinnear. Redner posed to Hines. Hines jumping the higher, now takes the football as well. He puts it up, players set themselves. Up high was Turner at the back of the pack, an opportunity. The handball now goes out. In fact, that could be Mark Marshall, that was. And the kick goes straight towards Fiarchi, who chips out a short pass, and Marnie, the photo finish, dropped the mark. And we'll have a throw in on the left half forward flank. Grandstand side. In fact, only metres down from where that man is sitting, Michael Noonan. And what would he be thinking? You can't question what he's achieved over the years with his North Adelaide team. But by gee, they certainly crack in the finals. The ball down towards Turner again. In fact, it could be Saunders, that one. He gets the kick looking for Bennett. It's fisted away by Phillips.
Yes, it must be soul-destroying for Michael Noonan, having interviewed him straight after the game last year and know how devastated he was, and apologised to the South Australian public. He's up again this year, but at least he's got a lot of younger players who, and it can be excused to a degree. The kick around the crowd saw a throw, but the umpire didn't. Saliba gets it out wide, but straight to Mark Williams and turn Abernethy. He's got Ben Harris running for him if he needs him, but he doesn't. He'll go out wide now, looking out there for Tregenza. Against Sanders, he needs a set. Does it well. Oh, Harris follows up. Has the ball at the 50. Craig to beat, does it well. 50 metres out, the full-back goes for goal, but he doesn't bring it off. And the crowd groan in disappointment, mainly for the lad who's come from woe to go to have a shot at the aluminium, but finished up kicking out on the full, and even John Cale can crack a smile. Now that's got to be a first for mine. I don't think I've ever seen him smile during the course of a game in my life.
I think it was a grimace, wasn't it?
Oh, back Daisy, I thought it was half a smile.
You're going to drag him, Bucky.
Neil Craig with the ball, but he won't have it for long as he's run down, and the handball goes straight to Marnie. Comedy of errors by North Adelaide. Now the handball over towards Fiarchi. They're all in the action. Everybody wants to kick a goal, and George suffers the same fate as his fullback in Ben Harris, out of bounds on the full. Back you go, Georgie. No smile this time.
Kick back towards the half-back line. Out goes Red, and the umpire pays the mark to Hines. Hines is too far out. He's 70 metres. Hodge gives lead in towards the half-forward line. Clisby right there with him, thumps the ball away. Turner comes through, slips it well. Now to Perkins, who kicked long, centre wing on the outer side. Northeast gets there first. Don't know where the umpire's going to pay it. No, he says it's out of play. 24-10 to 7-2. 25 minutes gone. We're into time on of the third quarter. Port Adelaide by 110 points. Hines against Bennett, who used his body well, has to go back and get it himself as he farms the ball out to Hart. Then Craig, he's lost it. Coming through strongly, Darren Jarman puts it in long. Burton can't get that one. Back in defence now, it's Rosonico. Harris there with him. Burton goes off, but in the meantime, umpire Mark Mackey has awarded a free kick for hanging on, and Rosonico takes it back pocket.
Poor Rosonico has played out of the back pocket for most of the season. And down in the reserves in recent weeks. He'll be keen to stay here for next week's game. The handball out from Hines to Wanganeen, one of the most exciting players in Australia. He draws the play. Now the handball over towards Williams. Stephen Williams lines up the goals, and he has hit the post. Port Adelaide 24-11, North Adelaide 7-2.
Second time for Stephen Williams in hitting the post. What was discerning for me is David Hines taking the mark on half-back flank. Normally Mick Redden would have been there and contesting, but I'm sure the big fella is not well.
Oh, once again, North Adelaide too slow to get rid of the football. Perkins has got to go back and get it, runs into and out of trouble, slips it to Hart. I'll go on with Bucky's point in just a moment. Michael Redden could not raise a gallop 2 metres to spoil the mark. On the outer side, it is Turner, gets the ball back to Hart. Hart in turn goes long to the half-forward line. So I think it was Sanders who kicked the ball, but anyway, whatever it was, it's Phillips who kicks it back. Now Hutton brilliantly done. Off goes Hodges, but Hutton's going home with a long one, but he's offline on this occasion, and only 1 point only to Port Adelaide, who are bombarding the goals from all points of the compass, but at the moment of 24-12 to North Adelaide 7-2.
David Hutton on screen, felled heavily by Darren Jarman. Appears to be okay. He's been a very good player for the Magpies. Trevor Clisby playing at full pack. I don't think Hodges has kicked one on him yet, but I wouldn't hold my breath the way Hodges is playing. Mind you, Clisby's a very good player as Hart gets it out to Red, and the short pass is too long for Van Zetta. Back there is Fiarchi. He'll have some support in a moment. Brown applies to Shepherd. George takes the football and then kicks one to a fan in the crowd. Out on the full. He won't be happy with that. Second in a row. And last week, George best on ground for Port Adelaide. In all fairness to Georgie, been starved of opportunities today. The ball has been very much in the Port Adelaide's forward zone. Neil Craig has worked hard. One must pose the question whether this will be his last game of league football as Bennett takes the mark. Craig has had 11 kicks and 15 handballs. He's 34 years of age. It could be the last time we see him at this level in South Australia as the ball's punched away by Ben Harris. Darren Jarman went without it. Harris takes it, puts up a high handball, and it's out to the racehorse in Tregenza, supported by Northeast. The handball goes to that player. Northeast with that awkward kicking style. He'd love to kick one. I tell you what, Brian, those defensive players from Port Adelaide are pretty keen to get their name in the goal kickers.
Well, you're not wrong there. They love it. They go up ground, and an indication to score when you're 24-13 to 7-2 up, then there's a fair chance you might have a go at it.
Saunders to Sanders. In turn, Saliba makes a break on the half-forward line. Northeast gets back there. Saliba can't find it. Northeast has got it. Hines back there in defence for Port Adelaide. Saliba over the top. But in doing so, he's given away a free kick, and David Hines gets it on the half-back line. Seventh kick to David Hines. It goes in short. and finds Ben Harris. The umpire said no. Darren Jarman gets collared. Well done, Burton. Burton gives it out to Hart. He's 30 metres clear. Port Adelaide have dropped their guard. He can take it home. It's a lay-down misère as Hart waltzes into the open goal to Booty second, and North have got 8 on the board.
He just got away, Daryl Hart. There was no player on him for miles and miles. Well, metres and metres, to say the least. Darren Jarman has got it. The handball came out quickly. Now, Daryl Hart just slipped back. Craig Burton saw it, put the ball out there. There were 3 Port defenders, but none of them within cooey of this man as he runs directly into goal, puts it through. He wouldn't be happy about it because North Adelaide are well down and their captain knows it.
Well, they've pegged back the margin a little bit. They trail by 16 goals 11 at the 29.5-minute mark of the third term. Redden is not 100%, as everybody's mentioned. The ball goes down to Craig. Redden tried to handball to that player. Intercepted by Mark Williams out towards Hodges. Clisby did well, but Marnie at the back of the pack. He tried to do one a la Pele. Couldn't make contact though, and Turner picks up the football, kicks it towards the boundary line, and in fact that's out of bounds on the full. But David Brown, Hutton short, that's ignored. And gets the feeling Hodges will be the target at the head of the square. The ball goes in that direction. Hodges front position, down he goes. Oh, and there's the free kick. The nudge was there. And Scott Hodges, an opportunity to kick his 10th goal. And what a season he's had.
Yes, he's just consistent at the ball, strong body, and defenders have to resort to unusual tactics and illegal tactics against a player of this calibre.
Kick number 14, and Hodges has kicked his 10th goal. Port Adelaide go on their merry way, 25 goals 13. North Adelaide lamenting, 8 goals 2.
Let's have a look as the ball comes in. Hodges is there. In fact, he stumbled. He stumbled a little bit, and Trevor Clisby is not happy. The free kick was paid. The umpire couldn't do anything about it after the event, but I figure that Hodges was a little lucky on that occasion. But he scored 10, and that's a tremendous performance from full forward. We're 31 minutes into the third quarter. The Magpies 25-13 to North Adelaide 8-2.
And I think another goal to Scott is only purely academic. 25-13 to 8-2, 31 minutes gone. It's a long quarter. Hines against Redden. Redden gets the tap, but Mark Williams takes it out of the centre again. The bounce could favour Hutton, if so he's in business. Well tackled there on the half-back line by Bradley. Ryan up. Finally, Hart takes the ball away. In towards the pocket, and that couldn't up. The bounce favours Abernethy back in defence. Craig bears down upon that player. Abel, unaccustomed with his socks down, his handball away is a shocker. Comes out to Saliba. He's not certain where to kick it. Mainly he hasn't got an option. Finally runs into a snooker, gets out of it, goes for the woodwork, and he kicks out on the full. Well, that's about sums up North Adelaide's day. It hasn't been a big one.
Well, he didn't have any options up forward, Daisy. That's what he was looking for. He was looking for someone to make a movement and then ran himself into a bit of strife where he had to hurry the kick, and the end result is just what you see, a free kick to the Magpies.
Yes, little Adam Saliba hasn't had a big afternoon. Made a lot of mistakes, but so too have his teammates as the ball is passed in towards Greg Phillips. They're doing it with consummate ease at the moment, under no duress or stress whatsoever. In fact, Greg Phillips says, I'll help you out, I'll have a shot for goal for you, and he nearly managed to kick a point.
Now, you can't say that's good football at all. I mean, you can have a giggle about it. Greg Phillips wouldn't be, because that is one of his worst kicks in football.
I wouldn't think John Cale's having a grin about it either.
Well, I don't think he tried at goal.
I think that was a check side, wasn't it? At the throw-in.
Oh, sorry, and Brian, I was only joking when I said he was helping them out. I'm sure he wasn't trying to do that.
Kim, I thought you said that. Burton! Oh, what a mark. Right. Well, it's a shame when even the commentators started getting flippant. That's such the state of the game, but that was a top mark by Burton, and he's only 10-15 metres out right in front. And Craig Burton has covered a lot of ground. He's booted 2 goals, so he can half hold his head high in terms of the effort. And that's his 9th kick, and he has produced his 3rd goal. North Adelaide 9-2, Port Adelaide 25-13 on 9's Wide World of Sport.
Yes, it was a good mark by Burton. One hand as Hart got it out. Getting back to the earlier one with Greg Phillips, and I was going on the fact that the crowd in front thought it was a huge joke. I'm sure John Cale didn't. and Greg Phillips didn't. But Burton, a good effort there to kick a goal, his third, and 9-2 plays 25-13, 33 minutes in third quarter.
In fact, we're about 7 seconds away from the 34-minute mark, so it's been a very long quarter. Hines wins the tap rather easily. Going through solidly was Mark Marshall, picked up by Hines once more. Clisby leads for the chase of the ball, with the bounce favour Smith. The siren sounds. That score won't be allowed. And in fact, that is the case. So at three-quarter time, Port Adelaide, 25 goals, 13, 163 points, absolutely annihilating North Adelaide, 9 goals to 56.
Port Adelaide with a massive 107-point lead as we head into the final quarter of the preliminary final. About the only interest left in the game now is whether Port Adelaide can break the all-time record for the score kicked in a preliminary final, and they've only got to get a goal to do that. It's Burton as he heads towards the line, followed by Phelps, but it beats them both out for a throw-in on the half-forward right flank. North beat Sturt in 1973, and they kicked 25 goals, 18. So Port Adelaide just 5 points short of that at the moment. Phillips in the action. So too is Johnson. Getting there first is Fiachi. He finds the safety of the line, and it's another throw in the same spot. Port Adelaide have led from woe to go. 58 points at quarter time, 83 at half time, and now 107 points. Saliba tried to farm it out. A lot of his handballs have gone astray. Geneva, who's played well, gets it back now to Phelps and turns Stephen Williams. Williams goes out wide towards centre wing. Well intercepted out there, but taken off by Sims, smothered, and once again out of play. And that was young Ben Hart, who intercepted well to stop Port Adelaide potential mark.
One of the new brigade, 16 years old, playing his second league game. And I'm sure it'll be one he won't really want to remember as Fiachi hooks it around his body. Darren Smith underneath. Redden applies the spoil. In there is Hutton. He tried to get the handball away. Now Ben Hart over the top, one of the youngsters we were talking about. Geneva gets the kick away, and it goes to the open spaces. The handball forward by Turner, picked up by Darryl Hart, the captain. He drops out a short pass and finds Darren Jarman. Jarman launches into a torpedo punt, but it was off the side of the boot, but Bennett takes it on the chest. So Peter Bennett from about 50 metres out, a chance to bring up North Adelaide's 10th goal. He's had 7 kicks and 6 handballs for the afternoon. Taken 6 marks. Also performed a little bit in the ruck as the left foot kick is on its way. It's a very accurate kick, and that is the vice-captain's second goal.
Yeah, he was a star last week, Peter Bennett. He really just about won that game. I gave him best on ground in the final, but this week just has been contained. Hasn't had enough of the ball at centre half forward. He's worked hard around the pack and got opportunities here and there, but really you have to say he's been well beaten by Greg Phillips in that centre half forward position.
I don't think North would have too many winning positions, Bucky. At the bounce, it's Redden who can hardly walk against Johnson. Geneva taps forward, comes out now to Ben Hart. He drops one in towards full forward, coming to meet it and doing it well is Jeffrey Phelps, and he'll send Port Adelaide out to Greg Phillips. Well, it might be too far for that player. Ben Hart intercepts. Geneva's got to work. Ben Hart now hooks around the corner. That wasn't a good one. Fiachi back in defence for Port Adelaide. Towards centre wing, and that is out on the full, and it's going to be Craig with the free kick, is it? Yes, Craig with the free kick. Well, he's got to be close to North Adelaide's best player, Kim, and he's 34 years of age.
His fine performance, 12 kicks and 15 handballs, and I think along with young Turner and Trevor Clisby, they're about the only players that can really hold their head up high. Stephen Sims has tried hard, but he hasn't been fit, and Darryl Hart just hasn't found as much of the football today as what we've been accustomed to. The back of the pack, Perkins, he certainly had a day he'd like to forget, opposed to Scott Hodges, who's kicked 10 goals, 9 of them on that man Perkins, and eventually the ball, no, it's still in play. Fiachi, I thought he'd given up the ghost for a moment. The handball now over the top to big Greg Phillips. He farms out one to Geneva. The old roving guitar player puts it back towards Stephen Williams. Williams on the right boot, but it doesn't really matter with Stephen Williams. He puts it out to Wanganeen, who nonchalantly grabs it one-handed, tries to hook the ball back towards Marnie. Through goes Clisby, the player we were talking about. The handball out to Bradley Ryan, and Ryan kicks out wide where Jarman, in fact, yes it is Darren Jarman, takes a clever mark. Handball's on towards Craig. He draws the player over towards Burton. Burton has kicked 3. He's inside 50. He sets sail for home, and Craig Burton, the man that kicked the only goal in last year's grand final, has posted his 4th.
Good goal to Craig Burton. North Adelaide worked it well. Darren Jarman took the mark on centre wing, and in doing so has put Gavin Wanganeen down. And Wanganeen is, I think the stretch is being called for. I think he got a sprig in the back of the leg. He hasn't moved from that position, and Jarman is also injured. So not good signs for North Adelaide, and particularly for Port Adelaide as the stretcher comes out. And I think it's Gavin Wanganeen.
Yes, Bucky, that's not good news. We've already mentioned that. Let's have a look at it. It doesn't look like Wanganeen. It looks like Ginniver, Tim Ginniver, I think. And that's bad news because Tim has played an excellent game for Port Adelaide in their top best 5 players. Port has already got Rowan Smith in hospital having an operation for a depressed fracture of the cheekbone. So Port Adelaide, although they've had a marvellous win, there's some bad news for the club as well. 25-13 to 11-2 in the preliminary final. The unfortunate Tim Ginniver is stretched from the arena. Ben Harris comes back into the action to take his place. And in the meantime, the umpire will put it down again. Port Adelaide within 6 points of kicking the highest score in the preliminary final history. Johnson gets the tap away. Brown, aerial ping pong. Tregenza flips it back. Mark Williams around the corner. Champion game from that player, Darren Smith. This way, that away. Brown is in the centre if he can get it there. Darren Smith doesn't know where to put it. Floats it into the forward pocket. It was not a good kick at all. Coming to meet it at Bradley Ryan, and he takes the ball out of play for a throw-in in the right forward pocket.
6.5 minutes into the final term. Port Adelaide 25 goals, 13, 163. Leading North Adelaide a merry dance, 11 goals, 268. Throw in right forward pocket, southern end of Football Park. Redden tried to take it. Now Hines steals it, gets the kick away. It goes down about 15 metres, 20 metres further in that right forward pocket, and once more we'll have a throw in. Crowd of just over 25,000 people here to witness this game. If you're a North Adelaide supporter, you'd be very disappointed, and in fact perhaps a little bit embarrassed, as the ball is pushed out towards Scott Hodges. He's kicked 10 goals, and this time the ball goes out of play in the left forward pocket. Trevor Clisby puts his arms up in despair. The boundary umpire will throw in nevertheless. Redden, he's running on hard at the moment, used his body well. Out towards Bradley Ryan. Rod Saunders now with the football, should be able to take a couple of bounces. He had one, decides to kick instead and centres the ball towards Bennett, who takes a classic mark. Used the knee to perfection. Now Bennett will get around Phillips very easily. The ball in turn is put out towards Burton, and the man that's kicked 4 can now line up and try and post his 5th.
North Adelaide playing their best football of the day. I feel Port have just relaxed since the third quarter break. Take nothing away from North Adelaide, and this bloke Craig Burton, he's moving well up forward.
Kick number 11, a chance for his 5th goal, but he's offline. And I suppose, Brian, when you're 14 goals, 10 up, you do tend to relax just a little bit when you're 7 minutes into the last quarter.
Well, you wonder whether you become a little tentative. Port Adelaide shouldn't, because tentative play breeds injuries, and it's something that they wouldn't want for next week's grand final, but obviously they're thinking about it because they're there, home and hosed.
Marnie gets it out wide. The runner out there is Stephen Williams. Off goes Hodges again. Hodges gets pushed out of it. That was a blatant push in the back. Nothing subtle about that at all. And Scotty Hodges climbed to his feet to attempt goal number 11. Tim Ginniver is just stretched it around. We're not certain what it is. He's whether it's an arm or an elbow. I'm not certain. He's looking down, but that right arm is across his chest. But in the meantime, his teammate is going for his 11th goal. Only 30 metres out. Oh, it's a terrible looking kick, but any rate, whatever, it's his 11th goal.
Yeah, it doesn't matter as long as they go through the centre, and it did for Scott Hodges on that one. A wobbly punt, you might call it. Barely made the distance, but the free kick was obvious. It was evident that Clisby could do nothing but to push Hodges out, pushed him fair and square in the back. Hodges went to ground. Free kick and the 11th goal.
The Magpies lead by exactly 100 points. And North Adelaide once again capitulating in a final as Mark Mackey puts the ball to ground. Well, two ruckmen didn't contest that. Hines took it easily. The handball out towards Tregenza. Russell Johnston underneath the football. The mark not taken by Bradley Ryan. The crumbs are picked up by Mark Marshall, and he steers out a pass towards Ben Hart. So the young 16-year-old on the outer side has Marshall short. Goes in that direction with kick number 5. The ball not sitting for Marshall. He's close to the boundary line. In fact, he's being pushed out of play. Out there is Van Zetta. He started on the bench. He's been quiet. And that ball has been tapped over the line by Stephen Williams. Free kick. And there's no question there was a dash of intent in his actions. Not that the umpires normally pick it up, but he made that one pretty obvious.
Kim, it's interesting and doesn't really make much except statistics. Free kicks at 23 to Port Adelaide to 8 to North Adelaide, and 6 of those free kicks were in the first quarter. It just shows you that Port Adelaide is paid in front, and they're 15 goals in front at the moment. In fact, 15 goals, 10. Hines at the throw-in. Incidentally, with that last goal, Port Adelaide broke the preliminary final record for the most goals kicked, or the most points kicked as well, of course. It's Phillips. Farms out a handball as far as most people can kick it. In fact, you'd almost say that's out on the full it went so far.
And Daisy, apart from that record, they've also have another record here at Football Park today. The 11 goals by Scott Hodges is the most goals kicked by any player in a final series. And that's a magnificent effort, Scott Hodges.
Well, Kim, they're also vying for the 93-point win, which is the highest ever in a preliminary final. At the moment, they're 100 points in front, but of course they've got to maintain that, or at least 6 points less than that, to have the biggest win ever. 26-13 to 11-3, and I know the Bay players are here up until 4 o'clock before they were going down to train, so they're certainly being given an exhibition of what they can expect next week as Sims puts North into attack. A little bit of a push there. Burton should kick his 5th, and that's what he does. Well done, Burton. Pity they didn't have some players who were booting goals earlier. 12-3 to 26-13 in the preliminary final.
He is the shining light up forward, Daisy, no doubt about that, Craig Burton. And as the ball came in on that occasion, he just gently nudged in the, well, you could say it was in the back or side, but it's quite legal because the players were contesting the ball. He put his body in there, did it well as the ball came over the back, and the left foot shot was accurate.
At three-quarter time, John Kaya was saying that because there's an extra day, Kim, he wanted a real hit out in the last quarter. Port Adelaide have slowed a little.
Yes, but very hard to maintain. Yeah, that's probably the point, Ian. They played so well. It's very hard to maintain that concentration and enthusiasm when you know you have a game parcelled up, as they have at the moment. But I tell you what, they're still putting on some brilliant football as Tregenza tries to draw the play. He's in a bit of trouble now, forced to kick on the left boot. And perhaps he could have used Russell Johnston, whilst the big man's not moving all that well. He thought about popping the ball over. The mark has been taken in defence by Rod Saunders. Now he's looking for his options. There's not too many. He puts a floating kick forward, and I think that was luck more than good management, and it found Neil Craig. Kick number 13 coming up for the 34-year-old. 16 handballs as well. He's been a trier all day. Bennett tried to leap 3 deep, couldn't do it. Hines too tall, front of the pack. Looking to feed off. Marnie says settle, take a kick yourself. And he does so and puts it out looking for Darren Smith. Brown picks up the crumbs, weaving his way through the defence of North Adelaide. The pass now goes out wide and Paul Northeast takes it, plays on quickly, he's seen the goals, drops it on the boot, he goes towards Hodges, but that is out of bounds on the full.
He liked the look of the goals, Paul Northeast. He wasn't going to sit back there and take a kick. He thought a shot on the run would be a better go. He'd love a goal.
I think they all would, Bucky. I don't think I've seen a Port Adelaide defender who hasn't had a shot at least in the last half. But I don't think Greg Phillips has been up there yet. Not all over. Michael Redden with Stephen Williams on the ball. 26-13 to 12-3. Been a marvellous afternoon for football. Been a marvellous exhibition from Port Adelaide. But that's where it ended, unfortunately, for the big crowd here, as Sims, who's definitely not fit, but playing on raw courage alone, drives back towards centre wing. Abernethy gets the set. Plays on now, sends Port into attack, looks for Hutton. Gee, that must be close to out on the full. The umpire said OK. Hutton also put in a superb game, survived a huge bump from Darren Jarman and came out to be a star. Beautifully put. Mark Williams, Darren Smith, back to Hodges, and he's got 12. Brilliantly done, Port Adelaide, and Hodges is ecstatic.
So he ought to be. 12 goals, the best performance by any player in the history of South Australian national football. He has kicked 12 goals in this preliminary final, and no other player has bettered that, and that was unselfish because he gave the handball off. And Trevor Clisby's not too happy with Scott Hodges as he's applauding the crowd, the umpire coming in, but an amazing effort. Hodges gave the handball off, not expecting, I think, to get it back. He did. A series of handballs ended up back with him and an easy goal.
I'm just wondering why Scotty's so excited. Maybe he knows that it's a record 12 goals, but he's certainly showing a lot of emotion, which he doesn't normally do when he kicks goals.
I know Trevor Clisby, and I think Brian might agree. Clisby likes to have a few words, and I think Scotty's just getting the last laugh.
Well, I think also that the North Adelaide cheer squad happened to be down that end, and I think they've given him the raspberry this afternoon, and I think he's just getting a little of his own back.
As Darren Jarman streams forward, he puts the ball up towards Bennett. Bennett's worked pretty hard, and that's another good mark. And Greg Phillips, he hasn't had a lot to do today, but he was well beaten last week by Michael Murphy, and he will play a very important role in the outcome of next week's game when Port Adelaide meet Glenelg. Peter Bennett has 2 goals, an opportunity for his third from about 50 metres out. Kick number 9, the left footer, he's normally fairly accurate. That one just floating away, but it's gone through again. He's kicked 3 goals, he's tried hard. North Adelaide move along to 13 goals 3. Port Adelaide 27 goals 13.
It's been North Adelaide's quarter, and Peter Bennett is one of the players who's contributed to that, and he's worked hard. He's kicked 3, 2 of them in this final quarter. And as we talk, Trevor and Scott Hodges aren't too happy about each other.
Well, I'd be happy if I was Scotty Hodges. 12 goals is an answer to anybody. The even dozen. At the bounce, Redden against Hines. Hines gets the tap away. Saliba pushes a Port Adelaide player in the back, but the umpire play to advantage. Hines sends Port into attack again. Hodges comes out with a football. Down he goes in a heap, and the umpire's going to give him another one. Well, I won't say anything at all, but Trevor Clisby at the moment has got a mouth like a torn pocket. He's having a crook old word to say to umpire Kinnear. Marnie goes in to say a few kind words to Trevor. Bucky Cunningham, I don't think that was the most earned kick I've ever seen in my life.
It certainly wasn't a free kick, and Port Adelaide were racing it toward the goal, so I suppose if any consolation to North that they may have scored a goal anyway.
Brilliantly done, Scotty Hodges. If anything, in my view, the McGarry medal win has made this man a better player. He's got faith in himself, he's got faith in his teammates, he's one grabbing the footballer, and he's an absolute star. 28-13 to 13-3, and there's 24,928 people here to enjoy his wonderful performance.
Well, Scott Hodges, he's kicked the baker's dozen, 13 goals, and he is only 4 goals away from equalling Sturt legend and champion Rick Davies' record from 1983. That was 151 goals. So history in the making, perhaps next week as Northeast. In fact, yes, it was Northeast. Puts the ball out, beautifully executed to find Tregenza, the short pass. Now let's see Hodges on the ground. The handball is very quick to Smith. He's kept it in front. Will it sit? Close to the boundary line. He tried to bail out with a handball. Still close to the boundary line. Pressure being applied by North Adelaide. Now the handball goes out towards Ryan, but the ball goes out of play. We've had 18 minutes of the final term. North Adelaide maintain that 100-point lead.
Port Adelaide will make that. I think Michael Noonan would love it if North was ahead by 100 points. Sims gets it out to Hart, and Turn got it from Clisby. Hart comes back into Bradley Ryan. He's in North Adelaide's better players. Hooks the ball to the half-forward line. Bennett's got to face 2 of them. Can't handle it. Northeast back in defence. Run off the ball there, well played by Dixon. Gets it out now to Hart under pressure. He's lost the football. Great tackle, Northeast. Oh, brilliant tackle he put on Peter Bennett. Couldn't get out. and North East has got her on the half-back flank. 10th kick to North East. If he's going to have a kick, he's going at a tangent. In fact, he might even give a handball away. Jeffrey Phelps comes into the action and gets a ground covering kick up towards Johnson. No question he was held as well. North Adelaide giving away frees now in their frustration. Nothing they can do about it. Scotty Hodges on the lead. With him out there now is Ben Harris. He wants to kick a goal. He came on when they took young Geneva off. Clisby gets it out wide. Saunders can come back into Perkins. He's going to run into a dead heat if he doesn't get rid of the ball. Saunders again. He can take it home. Stephen Williams, great chase, didn't catch him. Put pressure on as he goes in towards the half-forward line. Now it's Phillips. And he concedes the point. Made no bones about that. 13-4. North Adelaide 28-13 Port.
Approaching the 20-minute mark. Greg Phillips, just a short pass out towards Fiachi. Fiachi trying to draw the player, does so successfully. Mark Williams, who was sensational in the first half, puts it over the top to brother Stephen. Kicks confidently with either left or right, leaving it behind out there. That was Hutton, I think. And now North Adelaide a chance through a number of handballs. Now Ben Hart puts it up to centre half forward. Bennett leaps high but couldn't take the mark. Hines front position. Craig farms out a handball looking for Lehman. He's been well beaten. Fiachi tackled by Saliba, and that's holding the ball. George had broken the tackle, but according to umpire Rick Kinnear, it took too long. Adam Saliba, number 43. He's played 20 league games. He's kicked 13 goals in his career. Chance to post his first this afternoon. He's not a big man. He's only had 8 kicks. At 13 handballs, they haven't all been accurate. And he hasn't made the distance as Hines puts the handball over towards David Brown. Brown lifts the eyes. Now the pass goes out towards North East, perhaps one of the toughest halfback flankers in the comp. There's that kicking style. He drops it out wide. Wanganeen is there. He was held. Going through strongly is Turner. Now Sanders, the handball out towards Ryan. Ryan a short pass, but not well dispatched, and it goes straight to David Hines, and that could have been 50. Plays on with a handball out to Rosonico. Started on the bench. He puts it out wide. Transfers play to find Stephen Williams. Williams the luxury of one bounce. Kick number 14 out wide looking for Harris, who's been quite intent on kicking a goal since the third term. Too far out at the moment. Kick number 7 for Ben Harris. Hasn't found his best form since coming back to Adelaide, and that handball was probably an indication of that. Now the short pass, and Darren Smith, 2 grabs, play on the call. Oh, Smith thought he had it. Clisby plays to the whistle, gets the handball out to Saliba, and he should clear for the Roosters with a handball to the captain.
Darryl Hart on the half-back line, sets out the pass to Bennett. He's played very well in this last quarter, taking a lot of good marks. Umpire Kinnear probably got the whistle out a bit quickly, and the mark to Bennett stands. He drives long, not well put. Back in defence, it's Hines. Kick number 10 to Bennett. Rosonico the runner for Port Adelaide. He gets a lead out wide from Hutton. That's where the ball will go. Hutton against Hart, Ben type. Puts the ball on its way now. Lead of Stephen Williams. He's got loose. He's going to have to crash with Turner. The bodies go in hard. Turner, well done, young fellow. Marshall comes out with the ball. Now Saliba chips out the pass centre field. Darren Jarman, after a magnificent start, had a disappointing game. Kicks long up towards full forward. Burton in front, thumped away. Rosonico for Port Adelaide. He's clear, got time to have a look and puts it short. Out towards the outer side and finds Marnie.
And Marnie with the football. He's kicked 1 goal. He started on the interchange bench. He's picked up 6 kicks and 8 handballs for the afternoon and drops out a short pass to David Hines. Hines started the game at centre half forward, was thrashed by Clisby, then moved to a forward pocket. In the latter stages, he has had a run on the ball and found plenty of the football. Darren Smith hooks one back. Clisby received a poor bounce. The handball back from Turner went straight to Hodges. Now the ball with Stephen Williams, and he has kicked a point. So Port Adelaide just keep adding to the scoreboard. You're on 28 goals, 14, 182, and there's that margin again, 100 points.
Sims has to work hard, still can't run to Bradley Ryan. Now see if he can do something with the football. His last couple of efforts have gone to the opposition. Phillips off the pack. Abernethy comes out towards centre wing, and Tregenza, another marvellous game from this young man. Sanders wears him all the way to the line, and a throw-in will take place on the half-forward right flank for Port Adelaide, almost up to centre wing. 23 minutes gone on the final quarter. The Magpies by an even 100 points. They led by 58 at quarter time and 83 at half time. So their last quarter's possibly been disappointing from that point of view. Sims to Hart, to Saliba, lost the handle, gave it back to Ryan Hart. He'll give it across now to Turner. Turner through the centre line. Off goes Burton on a long lead. Phelps has got him covered. 1, 2 grabs. Can't handle it. Quickly in Dixon. Now Burton. Burton this way, that away. Got one to beat. Smothered off the boot. Great play. Dixon gets the ball away. But it won't be a goal as it goes screwing away towards the point post and through for a minor score.
Trevor Dixon, he's been a quiet player. Where's number 23? Number worn by former fullback defender David Wildy, retired a few seasons ago. David Wildy also used to play in a long sleeve Guernsey. There's a classic grab from Darren Jarman. He has kicked 1 goal. It was in the opening seconds of the game, and from 50 metres out the distance won't be a problem. It will purely be accuracy. Generally regarded one of the best kicks in the game. Let's have a look at what happens. Picked up 15 kicks today, yet he's been a quiet player, and that probably tells the story. And the crowd clapping that, heavens knows why. 1 point, 13-6 North Adelaide.
I think they've forgotten his late charge on Hutton. It'd be Port Adelaide supporters who still got a long memory. Stephen Williams, Brown, excellent mark. He's played extremely well. What's the matter with the young fellow? He seemed to, well, I hope he's grabbed a hamstring. Oh, how disappointing for that young man, or was it a knee? If that's gone, he's gone for the grand final, and that would be one of the great disappointments of any young man's life. Bucky Cunningham, how would you feel as a Port Adelaide Rover, a former one, go down in the preliminary final with a jagged hamstring in the last second?
Gee, it looks just like that, Daisy. That is absolutely sad, because he went for the mark and he went at full stretch, and let's just hope it's not a serious one, but you can't get back from hamstrings in a week, and I would say if it is that, then David Brown is gone for the grand final. And Port aren't looking good because Tim Ginniver is off the ground. We don't know what the extent of his injury is. And of course, Rowan Smith with a depressed fracture of the cheekbone.
Sims to Hart up towards the half-forward line. Well done, Hines. That's got to be 50 metres. And I would think you'll find that David Brown disconsolately is taken off the ground in the arms of the trainers. And that is a bitter disappointment to this young man, and just hopefully some miracle will let him get started next week. He's played a superb game. In fact, to half-time, he and Mark Williams were my 2 best on the ground. Darren Jarman, short, in towards Hart. It's not a good kick, but Hart did it well. Taking the mark, he thought about Hart, Craig, but didn't want him. Off goes Burton on a long lead. And gee, Brian, Port Adelaide haven't come out of this game unscathed, as Kim just said.
No, in fact, I said before that they couldn't be content, and they had to continue to put pressure on, and they haven't in this quarter. And I don't think that's the reason, though, that they've got the injuries that they have, because Rowan Smith was at the end of the first quarter, and Tim Ginniver was just an unfortunate one where Darren Jarman came over the top. Lead
to Bennett is good. I think you'll find that we don't really know what's happened to young Tim Ginniver, but most certainly Brown looks history for next week. And if Rowan Smith's in hospital having an operation, he certainly is. And it's Peter Bennett with a chance to kick his 4th goal. He's got 3 to date, and that makes it 4. North Adelaide wagging the tail, the rooster that is, but it's been a very sick and sorry rooster this afternoon. 14-6 plays 28-14 on Nine's Wide World of Sports.
Well, Peter Bennett can hold his head high in the second half at least. He's kicked 3 of those goals in this final quarter, 1 in the 3rd quarter, and he has worked hard around the ground, but really hasn't had the week that he would have hoped for, because last week, as I said before, he was superb. This week, just not there.
Back centre field, 182 plays 90, and Port Adelaide leading by 92 points. Mark Mackey and Rick Kinnear have been the umpires in charge this afternoon. Hines couldn't take it. Jarman perhaps just in his back a little bit, but he gets the handball out towards Ben Hart, who kicks around his body, setting himself Saliba. Couldn't take it. Stephen Williams over the ball. Can't get the handball out, and Mark Mackey will have to bounce across the half-forward line for the Roosters. We've had 28.5 minutes, and really it's been Port Adelaide from the start, apart from the opening minute when Darren Jarman kicked that magnificent goal. Port Adelaide rattled on 10 goals in the first term, and North Adelaide have never been in the hunt. Mark Williams in there. Hines has the football. Handballs to Marnie. Port Adelaide looking $1 million. It goes out towards northeast. In turnover to Tregenza. He's kicked 4 from his wing. He puts it up towards Hodges. Front position. Couldn't take it. He's still in there fighting. Clisby wins that battle. The handball goes to Jarman. This will be kick number 17 or 18. And he looks for Bennett, who's had a big second half. Couldn't take it. Nor could Dixon. Rosonico can. Weaves his way through the North defenders. Back over the top he finds Mark Williams, who drops out a short pass with kick number 21 to find Ben Harris. Now Hodges wants it in long, and Harris has a kick like a mule. It goes in that direction. Now Hodges has to go back into Clisby. He won't be easy to move, Trevor Clisby. He's a big man.
Yes, the crowd don't like Trevor taking that one. A little bit of hissing and booing, but he's got a bit angry when Hodges got his 12th goal. Bit embarrassing when Port Adelaide player gets so many. Out wide to Hart. Hart's got time to have a look. Dixon's in short. Burton on a lead. Can't half volley that one or keep it in play, or did he? Oh, back to Lehman. That's sensational football. He should give it away to Dixon. He's going to get run down. Lehman has a shot and he has missed. Well, maybe a handball would have done the trick. Whatever. North Adelaide, it was only academic. 14-7 to 28-14.
I'm sure you're right, Daisy, but he had the goals in mind and thought he had the pace to get away. But in the fourth quarter, at the 30-minute mark, you haven't got quite the pace that you've got early in the game. And he found that as he was just tagged from behind as he kicked.
30 minutes into the final term, 28-14 plays 14-7. And not a lot of movement. And eventually Northeast provides a lead, but the ball goes straight to Darren Jarman, who plays on casually. The left foot kick towards goal goes straight back towards Jeffrey Phelps. Phelps has plenty of time to decide what to do with the football. In turn, the handball goes over the top to Stephen Williams. Finds brother Mark Williams. Now it goes out wide to Rosonico. Rosonico caught on the right boot. Now the handball out towards Greg Phillips. Phillips throws it on the left boot out wide. Players set themselves. Hutton should be first to take the football and does. He's off. David Hutton, courage plus. 20th kick, puts it out towards Smith. And Darren Smith takes the mark opposed to Perkins. He's had 12 kicks and 12 handballs, so his confidence will be a little higher than it has been in previous weeks. North Adelaide with all the players. Clisby allowed to take it. He weaves his way through the North defenders. For a man that's not endowed with a great deal of pace, it's very rare that Trevor Clisby's caught with the football. He's a clever player. The short pass in towards Neil Craig. Now the ball out wide to Dixon over the head of that player. The Archie there, and the siren sound to end the preliminary final for 1990. Port Adelaide far too strong. 28 goals 14, 182. North Adelaide very disappointing. 14 goals 7, 91. The action's been on Nine's Wide World of Sports.